Dave, welcome along. Looking forward to this one?
I am, yeah. I struggled walking up the stairs though, coming back from the ice, jeez. I'll have to give a few minutes to get my breath back.
No, it's a bit of a long trek up there. You forget how steep it gets up here at the top of the Sky Dome as well, which is never good for anyone. Anyway, Michael Farn there being presented South Player of the Year. He's had an outstanding season for Streatham.
Yeah, he has. He's been a real standout. I think sometimes it helps when he's in a team that, you know, a lot of inexperienced guys, new to the league, and he's just really stepped up and he looked to stand out in every game he played. And I think there'll be a lot of teams probably hoping to try and get hold of him next year.
I hope for his sake he stays at Streatham. Actually, I think he's obviously alongside Adam and co. It's been really nice to see that. You see sometimes some of these like younger players. I spoke about it yesterday about how this is going to be their first Coventry experience, and they're getting to learn from all these great experienced players on the ice. You've got guys like Ricky Plant, you've got Jonathan Weaver, you've got Kurt Reynolds and such like as well, and also guys like Michael Farn that are really helping to drive that development of players forward. It's
really good as well for them to be shared across the teams as well, so they're not just all playing for the same team. I think sometimes, especially, you know, I come from an NIHL sort of perspective, I've been watching that league a long time. Sometimes players don't want to play in a team where it's going to be a challenge or a struggle. They'd rather play with better players, you know. But to be fair to those guys, they've come and played for the other teams and they've really stood out and brought along all the other players with them. If you watch Streatham, for example, at the start of the season, you know, they struggled a little bit. But as the season went on, they weren't just relying on Ryan, Watt, Adam and Barney. They all come into their own and they all learned from those guys. And, you know, you can talk about coaching, but sometimes you just need better players on the ice to bring you along and, you know, make you a better player, really.
And hopefully we're going to see an absolute cracker match as referee Brooks puts his arm in the air, and we are underway in the NIHL Final Four finale as the Telford Tigers take on the Basingstoke Bison. Tigers shooting from right to left as Halford drops it into the zone for Plant's gone and chase, where Reynolds will work it back. Can't clear the zone as the Tigers keep it in, and eventually it does bobble clear as Antonov tries to lay it off into the path of Josh Smith. Karpov on rushing though, but the Tigers do get there as Halford will look to wheel it away. Under pressure though from the elongated stick of Antonov, but instead it will be the Tigers coming away. 30 seconds play have gone as Plant takes it through neutral ice, looks to dance around his man, but well stood up there by Kurt Reynolds, and Stuart Mogg picks up the pieces, plays it off the boards, but the pass is just a little bit too long and the Tigers will get the chance to regroup. All about getting a bit of an early time on the puck for the teams at the moment. Just find your way into this game.
Yeah, and equally trying to throw a few hits as well, just to try and put the opposition off there. There's been a couple of hits thrown already, and both teams come out flying at the minute.
Already the Bison are back with it behind their net as Mogg has to try and find Dan Scott around the far side. He's going to come under pressure, and that's a good step into the play there by Watkins, and actually results in a turnover for the Tigers as Rose will play it along the boards, where it's again Watkins working it in deep, and the Bison having to go back and regroup under the aggressive forecheck that proved successful yesterday at times as that one disappears into the benches. Yeah, it could be quite interesting, that aggressive forecheck. The Tigers did it very well yesterday, constantly putting the Phantoms on the back foot on their D, and I do fancy that yesterday the Bison was sometimes sneaking too far forward or leaving the odd man rush at the back, and that forecheck could prove all the difference.
Yeah, as well if you've got guys like Weaver who can pick a pass as well. You know, if you all push forward and you get caught, these guys have got the ability to get their head up and just next thing you know, you've got a breakaway.
And indeed, fortunately for the Bison yesterday, Dean Skins was standing on his head at time to deny both Polina and Palak at times as the check comes in behind there from Warren Tate, lays it off into Adam Taylor, gets the shot on, and Dean Skins there with the cover up and a little bit of afters around the net.
Big hit there on I think it was Dan Scott who took the hit there. Big hit at an angle. He looks okay, but he won't want to be taking too many of them in the first 5 minutes of the game.
1 minute and 34 gone in the period. Yeah, it's always great when you see that little, just laying out the marker, don't come near our netminder.
Yeah, exactly, and as any D-man is going to do that, you know, you don't want people getting in front of the crease, chipping away at your goalie, especially, you know, because if that goal goes in straight away, the keeper's confidence is going to be gone and it's going to be a long night.
Tigers with it back out on the blue line as Weaver tries to find the pass, broken up by Antonov, but this should be easily collected by Stokes, who'll take the opportunity to take it behind his own net and almost bring a bit of calm and civility to the proceedings so far as the big long pass down the ice takes a tip off Reynolds, so the icing is waved off, and now Reynolds is going to have to turn out, but can only turn it over. Manages to get to the second piece of the puzzle, and the Bison might have a 2-on-2 breaker as Josh Smith takes it forward. Sport coming from Antonov into Karpov. Karpov's shot takes a big deflection off Goodison, and Antonov just wasn't able to pick up the pieces.
Great play there. Telford going with a two-man forecheck there, left themselves a bit open when the play broke down, and you know, luckily Weaver was back. They had another guy back. They had both the D back, but you know, they've got to be careful if they're all going to get sucked into the zone. That they've got to keep a guy high just to avoid any of those breakaways.
It's one thing that the Bison weren't able to do yesterday. They didn't really create many great chances, and you do, as you say, that sort of, if they're able to work through that forecheck, they might be able to just set up something in the slot.
Yeah, the times I've watched the Bison, they're a funny team. They've ground out a lot of the results. In the latter half of the season, they've been maybe a goal down or two, and they managed to come back and grind out a result. But they don't, as you say, they don't create a lot of chances.
Malinik there driving in, getting the shot on, but the rebound is dealt with by the Tigers, and the officials decide that one's just gone up into the netting. There were 2:48 played in the period. Rebounds yesterday were Dennis Bell's best friend at times. He was doing a good job, but he also knows he's got that defence in front of him that's just there to pick up the pieces.
That's right, it's about the D-men being in the right place, so that when the keeper makes a save, you've got someone to clear the puck. We actually saw that in the game earlier today. The Oxford goalie was making a lot of saves, but the rebounds were going out with good angles for his D-men. The D-men were clearing the puck. At the other end, the goalie wasn't managing his rebounds so well, and they scored a goal from it.
I just could never get that flexibility as a player, I don't think, as a netminder, to do those big kicks into the corner. It just looks painful every time I see it. Bison coming forward now as Connolly tries to find Davies, but it's broken up. Malinik and a bit of a stick battle, and the Bison will regroup in neutralised through Scott. A lot of pressure on the Bison. They are short-benched in comparison to the Telford Tigers. I know a lot of them are under 18s at times, but Coach Watkins may take the chance, just put a shift out there, rest someone's leg that they may be able to buy back later in the game. Yeah,
they've got a long bench there, and you know, sometimes these occasions a lot of coaches shy away from putting on a lot of their guys, so they're just here for the experience. But I think it doesn't do them any harm as long as they get them out there for a couple of shifts and just let their key guys have a bit of a rest. But you know, some coaches just, you know, they called up the guys so they can be part of this atmosphere and, you know, maybe learn for the future.
Come on, we had Tony Hand here for years. Everyone knows his two-line speciality, and it's a great result for the GB under-18s this week as well.
Fantastic.
Gold medalist promotion. Great to see those guys moving forward as the Tigers take it in deep. Super getting the layoff, and it's actually well collected by Taylor, who feeds it back across the slot, and instead it will come back out the other way as Alan Wilson tries to dance around Stokes, and he gets the shot on at the near post. Deflected around, and the Tigers will pick up the pieces through Tate, but only he can find neutral ice.
Yeah, it was good hustle there from Alan Wilson. He's I think it's his first season with the Bison.
Yeah, first season. He's been with the Oxford City Stars, and he's obviously a junior product of the Bison, but he's someone who's, again, we've talked just before the start of the game about those guys who have the opportunity to step up alongside experienced players, and he's really coming on as Karpov has it in behind the back of the net, under a bit of pressure though, and will get held up along the boards. Yeah,
I mean, you know, you saw him there skating hard. Basically, Doug Shepherd's going to need those guys, the younger guys, just to keep wheeling. He got in the zone, got the shot on net. I mean, that's all they need from him. They don't really need goals. They'll be looking to Karpov and Malinik and those guys, Aaron Connolly, to get their goals.
Taylor dumps the puck in as the Tigers take the chance for a line change. The Bison do have a man high in Antonov. Goodison's going to come across and deliver a hit into the board. Great use of the body there from Goodison. Yeah, great deep play there by the Telford man. Antonov's got wheels, and if he let him through there, it would have been a nervy time there for the Telford defence, but great job, just pinned his man on the boards, and that's exactly what you need to do. It's been the absolute pleasure this weekend there, isn't it? All the hits that have happened are clean, and you're just seeing some great smothering hits where it just stops the guy in the motion as the Tigers cover up with 5 and 11 gone. I mean, as a D-man, that's part of the battle, is just pinning your guys, taking the wind out of him, stopping his momentum. Antonov, you know, like we said, he was on the far blue there, and they caught him with a long pass, but you know, he didn't get the chance to get his legs going. You know, if you let a guy come into the zone hard, then you're making your life very difficult as a defenseman. But if you can pin them or get your body in the way, makes all the difference, and it actually just makes your job a lot easier than chasing people around the ice, which unfortunately I used to do quite a lot. Yeah, it's the one reason I could never have played all that back check. Never would have found me there, unfortunately. Tigers coming out with the puck though as they lay it into the on-rushing support there of Halford. He gets driven into the ball. Silverthorne goes in deep and will get the opportunity to come away the puck as he feeds it back out to the points where Goodison just loses off the end of the tape, and all he can do is dump it back in, where Silverthorne will make a play of the puck and will go all the other way for the offside. Yeah, I don't know if Silverthorne realised the puck had gone out there. He was just stood on the boards waiting for the pass back, but yeah, deliberate offside, so we'll have the face-off down the other end. Yeah, again, good play by the Bison forwards there, just taking out the lanes, not offering any passes for the Telford D. We've said guys like Weaver can pick a pass. They're just going to have to be really tight on blocking down the channels and make sure you're, covering the lanes, basically. Back out to Scott from the point, looking for anything in front, finds Karpov. He has to turn onto the forehand backhand, and Davies nearly with the tip at the net there. Yeah, it was good. And I mean, neither team's really managed to get any possession for a long time in the end. It's still been a bit end-to-end. Connolly with it, trying to wheel around the boards, going forehand. Gets held up, though. Good bit of defensive work there by Silverthorne. On his knees. Yeah, and I think the Telford here are just going to have to try and take a man each and just try and get this put back under possession, because they're looking a bit ragged at the minute. And we're going to have a penalty on the play here. Referee Brooks deciding that Macaulay Halford just infringed.
Yeah, and then like I just said, neither team's really pinned the other in the end there. And in the end, the Bison had a little bit of possession, and it just draws the Telford players out of position. And in the end, they've got a power play out of it, and it's just because they've worked the puck really well down the boards. Tape passing, and they've got the power play now. Good time to get it as well. They've had time to settle into the game, and now they've got some time where they can get hold of the puck and try and get some shots on Dennis Bell and get him tested.
Time to work the goalie, as they say, as it comes back out to Reynolds. Reynolds into Malinek. Malinek with it. Lays back to Reynolds. Got Moggins support, but goes to the shot himself, and it's in! It's a tip at the front of the net, I believe, by Ryan Sutton off of Reynolds' shot. Let's go to the replay for this one. Reynolds with it, drives it in, definitely comes off Sutton. Is there a high stick call there?
I don't think so. I think it was more the screen than anything else. Reynolds just floated it in. It didn't look like he put too much intention on actually scoring the goal there. It just looked like he put it on net, and it's gone straight on the top shelf. And Dennis Bell's got two guys straight in front of him. He can't see it.
Good use of the screen there, and again, it's that old Maxism. Get bodies to the net, and good things happen. It could be a tip, it could be a screen. And
just, to be fair to Reynolds, we've said that he maybe wasn't looking for the goal, but he's put it straight on the top shelf there. So. Excellent finish from him, and a great start for the Bison.
1-0 up then, as you say. Great time for the power play, great time for the goal. As we just, it was a 2-minute holding penalty, I believe, as we try and work this one around with Davies now under a bit of pressure. Just able to find neutralised where Watkins under pressure from Malinek. As Watkins collects it. It is going to Kurt Reynolds the goal. Don't worry about the tip off Ryan Sutton at the net. My eyes deceiving me.
Well, he probably did try and get it, but if I was Reynolds, I'd be shouting for that.
Laid off then for Connolly on rushing as he dances around, trying to find something, get it on the forehand, but unfortunately for him, wasn't able to, and the Bison just going to have to dump this one in and have Stokes and Weaver regroup. Weaver with it now, trying to come forward, and that's a great bit of play, as you'd expect from Weaver. He lays it off to Taylor. Weaver joins the play, goes backhand, but it's up into the netting behind and high and wide over Dean Skins' net.
Yeah, it's difficult as well when you've got a player of the quality of Jonathan Weaver. He doesn't look his age. He's still very quick, and you look there, the winger's got it, drops it back to Weaver. Weaver's coming in. The D-men are already back in their own zone, so unless there's a forward trailing him into the zone, he's pretty much got the run of the zone. He can just put round the back, and luckily for the Bison, his backhand sort of went over the glass. But you've got to be really careful for that, because he's so good, and because of the way he's playing as a D-man, it's just very difficult to defend against.
Yeah, it's that on rush, and he knows when to time it as well. You rarely see him make an error on a rush forward.
His hands are fantastic as well, which helps.
This is the Bison get another shot off. That one disappears past the bars. It comes around to Reynolds on the point. Reynolds will look to, well, he's got his eyes on the goals now, hasn't he? So we're just going to put it on every opportunity. Bison forced back though as the forecheck comes in from Halford. And the Bison going to get that one out to Karpov, but all he can do is whip it across the ice where Stokes is able to play it off the boards and out. As you say, neither side really, even the Bison's goal sort of, since then they haven't really built that little spell of pressure, as it might be commentator's curse, because it comes into Smith, tries to get it on the forehand, good pad save, rebound, great save again there by Bell.
Fantastic, yeah, and he had to be alert there, because I think he'd already committed down onto the ice, and luckily for him, the puck didn't go out too high, and he was managed to get a second piece of it, but yeah, great play by the Bison again to dig that out.
Sutton take it forward, and the shot is kind of whiffed on there, it has to be said, with 8 and 27, but still it's a cover-up. It's not like it's turning back the other way and you're trying to go on the forecheck. This is Sutton's opportunity here. You'll just see not even a bubble of the puck there.
No, it's face-off in the opposition's end is never a bad thing. It's always, if there's nothing on, just get the puck on net, get him to cover it, and get your face-off, change your lines up. Basingstoke, as we said, are a little bit short, so any stoppage will help them.
Reynolds comes in and fires again. He's got his eye on the netting at the moment as Mogg is forced to work it around from the point. So it's actually going to get held up in the corner as Connolly's forced to try and dig this one out. Does do so as he gets support from Davies, who comes under a lot of pressure from Watkins, but gets it around. Connolly with it, again along the boards, works it into Malinek. Malinek going to try and turn away and find something. Got Mogg at the point instead, it's a pass across, which nearly got intercepted by Joe Miller. Instead, Reynolds works hard, does slip all the way through to Davies. And Davies and Malinek get hold of the puck. 9 minutes gone in the period as they try and work it along the boards, but it's broken up there. And we're going to go all the way down the other end as the icing gets waved off.
Yeah, no, good spell of pressure there from the Bison, and this is like we said, we thought in the power play they might get some possession in the Telford end, but they've managed it without the man advantage, and we've got Nyson now. So yeah, good start. I think the Bison will be happy with this. Doug will be happy with the way his team's come out. But you know, Telford is still showing that odd sign where, you know, a little bit of danger sign. You know, we go back to Weaver. You know, he's not going to be able to switch off at all this game, which is what you want in the final. You know, you want both teams going for it, and it's really good to see both sets of fans actually making quite a lot of noise as well. I know, I don't know what it was like yesterday, but it's like, you know, it's good to see the seats full down that end and both sets of fans enjoying themselves as well.
Yeah, the only complaint was the lack of fancy dress yesterday, I've been told. There was down on previous numbers, but there was a Donald Trump, but I think he's a little bit hungover today, dare we say.
I think everyone in the building looks a little bit hungover, to be honest. All those over 18, obviously.
Yeah, indeed. Strict policies here
at
the Coventry Skydome. Tigers try and work this one out, 9:41 in the period as Skins is forced to collect behind the back of his net. And the Bison will look to take the break off the board, but Super gets in the way. And Scott will play it back across into Dewey. Dewey going up the far side there as he'll get the tip on from Pets. Shepherd taking the opportunity to get his youngsters out there for a shift rather than having to go to those two big lines. But Karpov's come off the bench. And Halford plays it around into Stokes. Stokes then with the opportunity to try and break away as Ricky Plant takes scored. That's a nice cross-arse path into the on-rushing Weaver. Halford lays it back to the point where there could be a chance of goodness and deflection. Oh, goodness me, now that didn't go in.
Looked like it came off the post. It didn't ting, but it looked like it came off the post or someone's foot. I don't know if we'll get a replay.
I'm wondering if Stuart Mogg might have just been on the it looked like it had beaten Skins.
Well, it had beaten Skins. It was what it came off, because Skins was beating all ends up, and unfortunately for the Bison there. But as I say, can't switch off. He's going to have to be on his game all game.
And that's just one where the play just broke up for about 2 seconds, and all of a sudden Goodison's able to step in off that point.
Telford have thrown the body a bit as well. You know, they're finishing their checks as well. So, you know, we talk about the Bison having a short bench, but Watkins and Halford, they've both been finishing their hits, and, you know, that takes its toll over 60 minutes.
Halford works that one in where he gets the support from Silverthorne. Two Tigers players going to the net, but Silverthorne just loses it off the tape, and instead they keep it in themselves now. Silverthorne picking it up once again as he goes down, and now Mogg collects it. Silverthorne wanting the penalty call with the man laying on him, but referee Brooks calling nothing. And instead Antonov gets a shot off, but it's going to dribble around, and Bell's forced into a stick save.
Yeah, it was Karpov there, got his blade of his stick caught in Silverthorne's skates, which is
well, that's a great dance forward from Plant. He's trying to find a bit of spot. Dean Skin's able to get a stick on it in the end. Yeah, that's one of the ones where you're not very quick to remove that stick away, are you?
It's a nightmare because, you know, one, you don't want to break your stick, and two, you know, it could be an ankle breaker as well, you know. And it's quite hard. I mean, if someone said try and thread your stick through someone's skate, you'd never be able to do it. But it does happen now and again. He's looking at his skate now, just checking the tuck's okay. Because that's another nightmare as well, a broken skate blade. That can cause havoc.
Not this time in the game, and probably in the season as well. The money's running out for the equipment budget.
Well, not many teams actually. I mean, not traditionally carry spare skate blades around. You know, so pretty much if your skates are broken, you've either got someone in the bench who's got to give you your skates, so it's game over, back to the showers, or some poor kid who's turned up has to give up his skates and go and have a shower, and you've got to. But I mean, hockey skates are so hard to wear. You know, if you're wearing someone else's, it's not like a pair of shoes where you can just slip them on. You know, they're moulded to your feet most of the time.
Exactly. Malinek now coming forward for the Bison. He's going to try and work this around. Can he come in tight with the shot? And it's a good save, I think, actually, by Bell down at the near post there.
Yeah, it was good there. He was. That's what they need to do. Just go around the back, you know, drive hard down the wing and drive behind this Telford defence, because that's twice they've done it now.
Connolly with it, and he's going to try and dance into the zone. Does so. Works it across the ice where Malinek just hadn't skated as much as he hoped with that pass. Still got control of it though, as he'll again wheel it back to the point where Mogg gets the shot off. Dan Davies was at the net there. And we're going to stay in the zone because it actually came off the blocker of Dennis Bell. Yeah, I guess you must learn how important you are to a team if your skate blade does break, and it's like you either go into the showers or no, can you hand your skates over and you go off yourself?
It's a bit like if your player gets a major penalty, and you know, like a match penalty, and they're looking for someone to serve the 5-minute penalty, and it's like, oh my god, is it going to be me? Am I going to have to go and sit in the box for 5 minutes? And then even worse, if your coach tells you to come straight across to the bench after you've served the 5 minute, so you spend 5 minutes chilling on the other side of the ice, and then, you know, all you're hoping for is, you know, a breakaway pass as you're coming out of the box. I mean, I would still miss it if it was me, but you know, it's the ultimate humiliation. Gun serve, you know, so-and-so's 5-minute major nightmare.
I actually spoke with Dave Platt before the game, and I said, you know what, I fancy there'll be like a major penalty in this one.
Oh, you think so?
Just just something along the way, bit of exuberance or a bit of something as a big shot comes in for the point, which Skins has to be alert to and is alert to the rebound as well. I just say it's one of these games. It'll be something stupid. It'll be an accidental high stick or something like that. The worst penalty in the book.
The Bison aren't, I mean, I've seen the Bison more than Telford, but Bison don't strike me as a team that particularly get involved in the rough stuff, really. I mean,
that'll be Twitter going alive at that moment of that comment from some people.
I mean, no, I mean, the times I've watched them this season, they've got some big guys, but they're not really a rock 'em sock 'em type team, really.
Back out to Weaver on the point as he tries to work it in, but it's a pass only on to Malinek, but in return he can only pass it back to Weaver. Maybe they'll be teammates next season with that passing. Super then trying to work it into the gap, but that's great play back from Malinek to get on the back check and try and break that opportunity up as we go into the boards. Bison come away with it through Reynolds eventually. Plays it into Connolly, who takes neutral ice and then decides the cross ice pass for Sutton to work in off the dump as Malinek gets a shot on. Bell having to be alert to that sharp effort there from on the point. As Sutton drives his man into the board. Good play there on the back check to break up that opportunity. But again, the Tigers leaving that man high in plant. As Karpov now tries to come away with it under a bit of pressure from Silverthorne and Stokes. But Karpov works it into the zone. And that's a great play there by Silverthorne just to knock his man off his stride.
Two real quality players there going head-to-head, isn't it? Silverthorne and Karpov. You don't get much better than those two in this league.
Plant then trying to work that one out, but he's under pressure as well from Davies, and indeed Davies does come away with it as Karpov now has to try and do something, but he's being held up. Big shout from referee Brooks there, a move, and eventually it does do so because Weaver's going to get the breakaway. And actually a 3-on-2 break here for the Tigers if they work this well. Silverthorne's got the support of Alford, but the pass was a little bit early into the slot. Goodison now under pressure from Smith, and Rose picks up the pieces behind, plays it off the boards and around and out with 13 and 30 gone in the period. He's wrapping it around there for Plant to try and get hold of, but just loses it off the end of the tape. And the Bison get a chance to regroup. Bit of a scrappy bit of play here from both sides.
Yeah, but I mean the Bison will be quite pleased. They've got a goal, and they're having the bulk of the possession at the minute, which will please them. Telford just need to try and get on the puck and break out as a unit. At the minute, they're not really breaking out, other than I say that and then they break out through.
Here we come. Halford's going to come forward. He's got to try and get it out of his stick and skates. Goes down. No call on the play. Scott will try and drive him into the boards. Reynolds gets his stick in the way there. But as you say, it's individually at the moment, as it's actually going to be a turnover here for the Tigers. Big collision there and a shot from Goodison. Not often you see Kurt Reynolds go down like that, but
he went for the big one there, the crowd pleaser, and 16. Has stood up well there, saw it coming, steadied himself, and Reynolds has come off second best there. But if you're a D-man and you get the opportunity, you got the chance to sit him on his backside, that's what you got to do. But 16 did really well to stay up on his feet. I'm not sure who that is.
It's Corey Goodison. He did extremely well there to also then stand up on the feet, but also be straight away to snap the shot off as well. Just sort of really great awareness of the play, not 6 spells out of him.
It can sometimes though, when you're still stood up, it takes more out of you than getting, because when you get knocked down, the momentum just takes you backwards. But when it's you who's taking the full force of the hit, even though you haven't gone down, you still feel it. And I didn't see him come back to the bench to see if he needs any treatment, but he seems all right.
No, big strong lad they are. Make him tough in Telford, I keep being told.
Yeah.
Mainly their fan base that tell me that. Anyway, coming forward are the Bison now, and they're trying to work this one. The two youngsters, sorry, I say youngsters, it's Malinek. Saw Paul Petts and thought the third line was out, but Doug just using the opportunity to put some of the younger players out with a bit of experience as well. As forward comes McKenzie, 2 goals yesterday for him. Great pass into Miller, whose shot is broken up in front as Watkins now works it in deep. Miller gets held up well by Scott as it works its way out to Adam Jones on the point, but actually Paul Petts gets there first. It's going to be Ryan Sutton rushing onto that puck. He's got no support whatsoever, so he's going to have to do it himself. Great way of retaining the puck, puts the shot on. Bell forced into a shoulder save, and the Karpov will snap it on net where it comes off Jones. Again, Dan Davies now working in there. It's gone back into Mogg. He steps off the point shot and cover up by Bell.
Yeah, really good hustle there from the Bison, getting the shot away. Telford yet again just failing to clear the lines, and in the end shot straight down the throat of Bell, but he'll take those all day long, I think.
Yeah, that's the difference. It was something that Telford were able to do yesterday, unlike Peterborough. And Ewan King was quite unfortunate. He was not at fault for any goal yesterday for Peterborough. It was just constant screens, and they were every time. If a shot was coming in from the point, he sometimes didn't get to see it. Telford were doing very well yesterday in that every shot Dennis Bell saw.
Yeah,
and that's all you can do.
And it's deliberate as well. It's not by not by accident that that's the case.
Callum Wilson with the shot, nearly fell into the path of Karpov at the net there. Instead, Dewey has to step in off the point, where it actually already began to retreat, expecting the turnover. Bison still with it, with Dewey on the point, shot looking for the tip at the net. Man, Dan Davies there trying to get onto it, but Carton Weaver tries to get the pass out, maybe looking for the complex one because Karpov's collected it. He'll try and dance around Weaver, can't do so, works it back the other way where Mog collects it. Mog looking into Karpov having to try and take control of it, still loose in the crease. And the Tigers eventually come away with it with Taylor. Taylor will try and work it forward for the on-rushing Goodison to get to, but Mog holds him up well with the stick. Taylor with it again though, he's going to dance away from danger. Works it into the slot, but Dewey is there as Silverthorne was looking to sniff in after that.
Yeah, it's pace is notching up a little bit here. Telford really going hard on the Bison D when they're in their end. They're really forechecking hard and trying to take the body. I think that might reap rewards later on in the game because the Bison D, I think there's only 5 of them, is there?
I think there's 4. There might be 4. There have been occasions where Doug has dropped a man back and. But it sometimes does work as Antonov steps in off the bench to do well, feeds it to Connolly, he tries to get round his man and does so over the pad side there with 16 and 21 gone in the period. The Bison have extended it to a 2-goal lead.
Great interception by Antonov there, stood his guy up, took the puck, got it over the blue, got his head up, passed it across to Aaron Connolly, and what a finish. Great play, but yet again, Antonov, he's got a lot of assists this year, and you see the reason why there. Great play by him to intercept the puck there, and really unselfish play to dish the puck off straight away, and great finish by Connolly. He's been in fantastic scoring form this year.
Yeah, that's his 4th goal of the weekend as well, Aaron Connolly. His hat-trick yesterday.
Great finish as well.
Yeah, great. Right, just the goalie's got no chance there. You're going to the stick side, just over the pad. There's not a lot you can do. Yeah,
and it's perfect timing as well. We're coming in the last 5 minutes of the first period, getting a 2-goal cushion. Doug will be delighted with that.
16 and 27 as we have offside on the play there. Yeah, Antonov is one of the. He's a freak of nature, as it's been described to me. You can hand him any stick in the world and he can just play with it. And there was a while in his younger career as a senior, he wouldn't saw down his stick. He'd just play with the size he wants to play with.
I saw that he uses a long stick, isn't it? Which is unusual for hockey players because most hockey players like a shorter stick. Well, your coaches will all tell you need a shorter stick, But his stick is massive, isn't it?
Yeah, it's incredible. Yep, the size of the I know. It's a PC audience, so we're fine, don't worry. No, but it is one of those, and I've seen it in games where he'll break a stick and he'll walk over to a bench and he'll pick up whatever stick's there and just play with it. So shows what a natural touch he's got.
He's just very athletic, he's very agile and athletic. He's obviously quite young, so most people are when they're that age. But just everything about him, he's got quick feet, which is so important in hockey, just to have quick feet. He's got that acceleration. He's also got that work rate. He just never stops working, and it's a pin in the backside for teams to play against, basically.
Indeed. Bison now coming forward with it as Connolly tries to lay it into Karpov, but he gets it mixed up in his feet as Dan Scott works this one across to Reynolds across their own blue line. Into Connolly, who steps in over the blue line, got a sniff for the goals, he lays it off to Karpov. Karpov might get an opportunity here. Good work though by Rick Plant there. That's experience telling there. And
Plant's a big lad as well, isn't he? I mean, when he's bearing down on your stick, you're going to have some strength to get away from that, and Karpov just couldn't get his stick free from Plant's grip there.
Halford dumps it in there. It's not so much Ricky Plant these days as Ricky Oaktree, I think is probably.
He's a big lad. He's a quality player as well.
But he's got an incredible core though, and this is the thing. He's a big lad, but he has got a great core. He goes all game long, and he's also got that knowledge to know where he can slightly coast and where he can step on.
If you look at those guys like that though, when he's on the puck, he's got so much upper body strength, and also because he's got that quality as well, he's got his head up. It's so difficult to play against, because you can hit him, but he's still quite slippery as well. Even though he's a big lad, he can adjust in that. And guys like that I always found very difficult to get hold of. You think they look to the fans, they look like they're not really working hard, but actually they're moving.
Smartest guys on the ice as well.
Yeah.
I think that should be. Is that the way to describe him?
Yeah. That sounds nice. Better than a freak of nature.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Hey, he's in a good way. The Tigers trying to create something at the moment. The Bison just getting the sticks and the bodies in the lane though as they try and work something out. As forward comes Malinik. Knew he was going to lose it, so tried to just work it off the tape. And Sutton again. Did you say the Tigers are using the body? Maybe. Yep, maybe the Bison at the moment, they've got the rule of the roost, but as the game wears on, the body will begin to hurt as Joe Miller tries to dance it forward. Gets it into McKenzie, broken up though by Mogg. And he'll try and set Malinik free. And he might actually get the skate on here, Malinik. Goes in forehand. Good glove save by Bell.
I mean, yeah, good there from Malinik. Great speed to get down the wing there. But he had support there in the slot. And if he'd got his head up, he could have, I think...
Yeah, you just see
got a head shake there from Who's that? Is it Josh?
Yeah, Josh Smith was on the trail there. Yeah.
Got a bit of a head shake there because he was wide open. But you know, if you're Malinik and you know you burst around the back of the D there, you have to take the shot. But it's just from Josh's point of view, he's probably a little bit miffed at that.
He was looking for those Coventry headlines right there, something to talk home about. Anyway, back out to the point with Dan Scott there trying to work it around. Yeah, I was watching the Oxford game alongside Tony Redmond earlier on. Antonov has a shot that bobbles around and Dennis Bell eventually gets covered. And there's some after with Connolly and Warren Tate in there as well. All friendly.
Well, the Telford guys dropped his stick there and sort of tried to give, is it Warren Tate? Tried to give him a face wash, Connolly, but Connolly's kept hold of his stick, so it'll be interesting to see if Brooks calls any penalties here. I suspect he won't. But, but Tate needs to be careful. He's going to have a word with him now, but and rightly so, because you know, yes, he did have a little second bite at Dennis Bell, but also you know, you can't just drop your stick and start face washing people.
Indeed. No, just go back to I was watching the Oxford game alongside Tony Redmond. Obviously, Connor and Kenny are there for Oxford, and Tony saw Connor at the end of the game and said, "Oh, you scored at Coventry, have you?" Yeah. It's not a game winner at Coventry, though, is it, lad? Just walked away. Back out onto the point there where Scott tries to work it around. Into Karpov. Karpov with it now, looking for the support, but instead gets driven into the balls by Tate as Scott comes in off the point. Gets it into Davies, but he's broken up there by Taylor. Bit of a stick battle as Goodison will come away with it, but Antonov there with the big long stick, nearly making a vital interception. Instead, Karpov doesn't stick. Got support there, goes for the shot himself. Up into the netting behind him. We'll have another break in play with 18 and 41.
Hard work again there from Antonov. Costing the turnover. He didn't get the first puck, but because he'd put in so much effort, the Telford D-man there just ended up coughing up the puck, and he actually had a 3-on-1 at one point there. And you know, we talk about Antonov being very unselfish. He went for glory. He went for, you know, the near post. Bell must have shown him something on the near side, and he's going to try and jam it in the top corner, but Bell's got the better of it. So yeah, again, more encouraging stuff from a Bison perspective.
And again, it's working back to that point. I think if Telford allow Bell to see the shot, he's going to make the save most of the time. And if he gets that first save, he's in there as the Tigers now come forward themselves. Silforn gets the head up into Halford, but he loses it off the end of the tape. Instead, Halford trying to find it into the point where it'll come back to the point where it's kept alive there. Fans want it, but Skin's having to be sharp there on a
borderline to me.
As the puck goes in, yeah, it was a close one. It was a close one. Benefit of the doubt. Blurry lines here in Coventry as the Bison work that one out with Malinik. Got the support of Connolly as we enter the final minute. Shot comes in, broken up in front there by Rose, who lays it around to Connolly. Connolly just gets held up in the corner though, and it will be kept in at the point by Mogg, who lays it across. Smith here with the shot! Straight down the gut though of Bell with 19 and 25 in the period.
Great awareness there by Connolly, I think it was, to see the guy on the right-hand side there. I think it was Smith again. Great awareness there, just to put it across, and there was Bell to make the save. Bell's had to make a few saves in the last 5 minutes, and as I say, what was 35 seconds left in this first period, and Bison just need to face off in the Telford zone. They just not keep their heads and not do anything silly.
I'm glad you had to do the maths with the counting up clock here. It's just utterly confusing.
Doing that, yeah.
It's just something in your brain that you just look at it, you go, oh, there's that to go, and then you're like, no, that's your clock counts up here, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Again, freak of nature. Let's call it that. Maybe that's the word of the day here. Bison just looking to regroup this one out behind the net. It comes all the way across to Karpov. Karpov will try and get round Weaver. Instead, lays it off for Antonov. We enter the final 10 seconds. I think it's going to get held up along the balls there. Antonov actually with a steal. Lays it off. Sutton with the shot. Blind on Bell, but past the post. Well, what a period that was for the Basingstoke Bison there. 2 goals for them. Kurt Reynolds throwing one in from the point. And then Aaron Connolly burying another one to give them a 2-0 lead, and probably a deserved lead.
Yeah, I'm probably giving away too much here, and everyone's probably bored of listening to this.
No, they're perfectly fine. We're getting ready to go in the second period. Referee Brooks raises his arm in the air. And we're underway in the second period of the NIHL Final Four final, where the Basingstoke Bison hold a 2-0 lead over the Telford Tigers at the moment. Tigers with it all to do as Weaver drops it in Silverthorne, then rushes into the slot, goes backhand, good save by Skins, rebound in front, and had to be alert to that one because Silverthorne was sniffing.
Like we said again there, Weaver drifting in late there. Great save there by Dean Skins, and the rebound came out and no one reacted to it, and it was they were quite lucky actually. Silverthorne's shot seemed to take a deflection off, I think, the defenseman's stick, but you know, great start from Telford, and that's exactly what Tom Watkins will want.
I was just about to ask you, what do you think Telford needs to come out and do for this second cut period, and then they just answered it themselves, which is all you can ask for.
Jonathan Weaver on the puck.
And he gets it on the puck again, forcing Skins into the save at the near post there. That's probably the most frenetic 20 seconds of the game this has been.
It's quite interesting watching, because I've obviously been from the northeast. I remember seeing Jonathan Weaver when he was junior. It's funny how he's gone full circle and now he's wearing a full high-tech again. It's funny that.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, obviously, incident that means he has to wear it. But I mean, obviously, you must remember the days when Jonathan was a forward and sort of.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he was prolific, especially as junior. Unbelievable talent. And he obviously went on to realise that promise as well. And
Weaver with it again, shot, and that one comes off the head of Skins, who goes down. No, he's just lost his stick again. Happened a few times.
Hit him in the head, though.
It did hit him in the head. Sometimes you see Dean will just drop to the ice and take a moment, but actually it drops his stick. It happened quite a few times in the game yesterday. He just lost control of the stick, would make a save, and the stick would disappear out the other side somewhere. And
yeah, there's nothing worse than when your goalie loses his stick, and especially the D-man, you've got to make that decision. Should I go and pick his stick up, or should I do my own job?
Depends how many he's let in earlier in the game softly.
Depends how much you like him, really.
Pick your goal as well. Tigers with a good spell of pressure here. It's been all them for the opening 40 seconds of this period as Miller gets it, as he tries to wrap it around, but the sticks are in the lane. And he holds Dan Scott up well as now the follow-up comes in from Watkins as they're battling around, but it's Malinek who comes out the other way. 2-on-2, good stick on the play, but it's only falling into Connolly. Lays it off into Malinek, and we will have an offside on the play there with 54 seconds gone.
Yeah, I think it was Connolly just got tied up a little bit there and straightforward. There was a lot of offsides in the game earlier. It was interesting. The Oxford Sutton Sting game that was on before this. So I've never seen so many offsides in one game. Sometimes, you know, when the puck's going over the rule line, just take someone to step in, or you miscontrol it and someone's already anticipated going over and they move over and it's offside. I don't know what I think the ref's asking to do some maintenance on the rink here.
Yeah, indeed. In case you're wondering what he's saying, apparently some plastic's fallen off on the rink, so we're going to have to wait and see what's going to happen here.
Like the old days, well, not in Coventry, but the old, it's like when you're at the swimming pool and they're always asking for the people to go and fix the vending machine. Assistant at the vending machine to shake the crisps off.
This person's put in 60p and they've not got their crisps, and
exactly,
2 packets.
Just shaking the vending machine, someone open it.
Do you know what, actually, I'm curious to get a player's perspective on this. The sort of ebb and flows of games, like you're talking earlier on about loads of offsides. Is it then hard for players to get into their stride in the game if there's just constant stoppages, or does it actually sometimes help just to reset rather than be constantly flying and going?
Depends. If you're chasing the game, then it's a nightmare, and you'll see, you saw there when that decision happened, Basingstoke didn't mind too much because they're winning 2-0. But if you're chasing the game and you've got people going offside, the coaches will go crazy because it's just, as you say, you just want to get momentum. You don't want whistles when you're chasing the game. You want to be getting on the puck. You want to be the whistles. You want to be face-offs in the opposition's end. But it's the stops. I don't think it really helps anyone. But obviously, if you're winning, you don't really care. But yeah, I don't like these. As a player, I would hate these type of stoppages because it just, especially the first face-off after we come back from this break. Everyone needs to be switched on, and sometimes when you're just being stood, you see both teams here just stood waiting for them to fix the boards, and it's it could be anything in British ice rinks. The speaker blows, or there's a big hole appeared in the ice.
Yeah, at least it's not my favourite is ever in a small rink when obviously Bracknell used to have the specialty of the tiles falling down when a shot went up into the roof.
Well, Durham used to have tiles, of course, like a bit like an office, an office building with the things, and the puck would go up. And then not only would the tile fall down, but like more pucks would fall down, or a pigeon would come flying out of the roof. It was just hilarious, really, back in the day, those type of rinks. And there's a lot of rinks. I think Whitley Bay as well. They've got like a low ceiling behind one of the goals. You've got a puck flying up there. It's always funny. All rinks have their quirks. It's funny. We talk about this a lot in NIHL South. Well, it's the same in the North as well. You've got so many rinks with different quirks, There's Lee Valley, for example, the kickboard in one of the corners sticks out, so if you rim the puck, you can pretty much have the puck come back out into the slot and people score. You
got the boards in, but you got the Zamboni boards in Basingstoke, yeah, where it's just a little bit of a gap and it just shoots out in there and does all these things. And
it's these Zamboni drivers, isn't it, crashing into the air. It's funny, when Streatham Ice Rink first opened, they did a big thing about new kickboards and boards, and we thought, thank God, because anyone who went to Streatham's old rink, it was from the 30s, and the boards looked like they'd been hit by an earthquake, so all the boards were all uneven. And we got the new rink, and everyone was really excited because we could rim the puck round without it flying up in the crowd. And the first game, the lady driving the Zamboni just crashed straight into the boards, and just now you can't open the gate. So it's just it's one of the quirks of the sport, and all the players, when you play at rinks, you get to know of all the different the bounces and stuff like that, and it's quite curious. Sometimes you don't notice them as a fan, but as a player, all the rinks, as well. Oxford's got netting, for example, so it can actually go out and hit the wall and come back into play. And the referees often just let it play, the ball.
It's one of the things I do miss about Romford's old rink is the netting around. I mean, some of the best sight lines in hockey for a fan. It was just all the netting around it. And
well, as a player, I certainly didn't miss the old Romford rink, but I think I've mentioned this a few times, so I don't want to upset Romford fans.
We're not going to upset them at all. It's just honesty, and that's what we want on this. Tigers now looking to build on that following the delay. It was actually a sponsor board that got taken away, not because they haven't paid their bills, but because the plastic had fallen off in front of it as a big hit. Gets levelled on Pecs there by Adam Jones.
You have to pay extra for getting the shout for the board breaking.
They could pay me and I'll say what the company's name was if they're watching online. Anyway, Stuart Mogg trying to get in the way there of that one. But broken up on the inside, and Mogg and Taylor gets actually hold of that one, trying to dance around Dewey. He does well to hand his man into the board. And the Tigers do come away with it and will look to wheel the shot off there to Super, but it's broken up by Mogg, who felt the full force of that shot. As there's a big hit out on the point, and Mogg's got to get his legs moving as much as they don't want to. And he gets up with the win there. Yeah, never fun when you get the puck in the bits that hurt.
A nightmare, especially certain parts of the skate, the laces and other parts, they don't have much protection. Even it just takes a little snapper, hit you on the side of the wrong part of the skate, especially the laces. And I tell you what, sometimes you just got to keep your skate on, you can't take it off because otherwise your foot swells and it's game over. But yeah, I love, by the way, Super, what a fantastic name for a hockey player.
I know.
It reminds me of Newcastle Coventry used to have a guy called Magic, Xavier Magic. Spelled with a J.
J.
I was well jealous of that.
Oh, big shot. Yeah, that's a great one to have.
Fantastic.
Until it goes wrong. And then
unless you're not very good.
Yeah.
But he was good. So.
Not to go to darts here as Ryan Sutton tries to dance this one forward onto the backhand, but the shot's broken up there. Still with it as he gets driven into the boards. And the Tigers, well, Karpov's actually stepped in there. Silverthorne has stepped away thinking the trouble had been dealt with. And he takes the stick in the face, and here we go. There's the high stick, and hopefully there's no blood. I don't want there to be blood. Thank goodness for that. That's the sort of thing where all of a sudden...
It's a sickener as well as a player, because, there's nothing malicious there from Silverthorne. I mean, yeah, he's out of control of his stick. But, he draws blood there straight away. That's a match, and it's a 5-minute... And their best player's gone.
That was more the point. I would hate to see Silverthorne lost from the game on what is a technicality, really.
He got very lucky though, because his stick did take. It did run across the front of Karpov's face.
Yeah. Also great to say Karpov straight away going, no, there's nothing as well.
Yeah, well, I mean,
you've seen players over years previously with getting the teeth out there.
Well, down on the floor as well. Down on the floor, digging your nose away or whatever. It's not unheard of.
No, indeed. Bison power play. They scored on the last one of these. They'd love to get another one as Scott lays it into Davies. Davies with the shot broken up by Goodison in the first place, and he has to wheel back out to the point. Davies looking for a little bit of something as Connolly's snapshot is broken up. Antonov tries to get it and will do so because the Tigers' clear wasn't good as it comes back round to Karpov. Into Scott, who lets fire, and the tip comes off the Telford stick. And now battling to get it out the zone. Scott can only work it around the boards, and Weaver will do the rest of the business, but kept in well there by Karpov. Maybe an opportunity for the Bison because the Tigers were running the guys forward. Davies with it with 1:20 to go on the power play into Karpov, Davies looking for support in Antonov. Antonov's got it. Tigers have got the man in the slot though. Bison not really putting the traffic on as Karpov's shot comes in off of Davies, and that one just deflects past the post, and Connolly does well to keep that alive. 1 and 5 to go on the power play. It's Connolly into Davies. Davies looking for something, finds Antonov. Antonov behind the back of the net, out to the point for Karpov, across to Scott, who lets fly. Shot up into the netting, 54 seconds of power play to go.
Yeah, I thought it was a really good power play by the Bison there, and I've really enjoyed watching their power plays this year. Every time they're on the power play, they've got a lot of guys who are really good on the puck, composed, but also they're always moving their feet quickly, they're moving the puck quickly. They're not letting the box, giving the box chance to settle, and they were unlucky there. They did get a shot away in the end from the point, but I just think they've got a lot of players, the Bison, who can, Dan Davies was playing on the point there. Sometimes a lot of teams use a forward on the point just because sometimes, they usually have better hands, but really well worked power play from them, I thought.
Indeed. Sometimes the complaint is they don't shoot enough, but there you're trying to work for that perfect opportunity, as Malinek will try and do so himself. He steps off, shot, blocked at the net there by Rose, and Miller's going to have to work hard to keep that one from going out. Can't do. 35 seconds of power play as Mogg steps in. Back out to Reynolds, look to tee it up, but don't. The traffic's now there, but instead it's going to land in front for a shot, and it's Josh Smith who finds the back of the net. The puck had coming from the shot, it bobbled free, and here's the replay of it. Oh, unlucky there for Dennis Bell, just couldn't react to that one as the Bison go 3-0 in front.
Well, it was Reynolds again, stepped in, tried to have his little floater into the top shelf. It actually, I don't know if it was Bell who made the first save, but Josh Smith reacted quickest, and that's a sickener for Telford. 3 minutes, we had 3 minutes 49 gone in the second period. It's exactly what Tom Watkins would not have wanted, and the only consolation I would say is that at least they didn't get a 5-minute penalty and not a 2 minute. So they've let in a power play goal, but it could have been a little bit worse. I know that would be no consolation to Telford fans.
No, exactly. As you say, 3-0, it's still doable. We're still early in this game. There's still a lot of hockey to be played out here. As Karpov now gunning forward, he tries to try and work an opportunity, puts it into the slot. This time Weaver is there on to deal with it, and now Reynolds will try and dance his man at the point. Going backwards and forward, gets the shot off, but Weaver again is the one most alert to it, and Smith steps in. He keeps control of it, lays it off to Karpov. Karpov goes down under a challenge. Smith has to try and pick up the pieces, but it's driven in well to the board. Smith still trying to come away with it, but that's well played there by Halford, and he'll get the opportunity to skate away. Halford got plenty of support here as Weaver joins, with Silford going to the net, looking for the tip, but the pass across just doesn't find the man, and it comes back out the well other way with Malinek looking to gun forward. He's got Antonov in the middle, he has to get it onto the forehand though. Dances round one, he's got Malinek in support behind, tries to find Davies, who gets it back to Mogg, who lets go, and it's over the bar. Rebound down in front, bobbles in the slot. Still alive in there if the teams want it. Davies picking up the pieces, back out to Mogg, drives it, saved by Bell. Great save actually there, with plenty of traffic in front, and the Tigers look like they're going to escape this one out the zone, but they can only clear it all the way down the ice for an icing. Fantastic
play again by the Bison again. Quick feet, moving the puck. Telford defence at the minute. They're not picking up the point men. They're not really picking the guy up in the slot. They're pretty much not picking up anyone.
What are they doing then?
Yeah,
they're just chasing shadows at the moment.
They are at the minute, and it's interesting when you look at the players on the ice. It's not something you would expect from them, but I think it's just the pure work rate from the Bison here it's really causing the Tigers a lot of problems in their own end zone.
Just all those time the Tigers are trying to clear, they're not getting it cleanly out either, as Malinek now has it in behind the back of the net, comes under a bit of pressure from Goodison, looks to work it around, but actually that one's held up well there as Rick Plant got his sticking on the play. He dumps out into neutral ice where Kurt Reynolds goes back to collect, and the Tigers do get that line change after the icing. Malinek lays it out wide into Davies, big hit on Malinek behind the players. Davies tries to force it on net, but Weaver picks up, and if he gets his head up here, the Tigers are going to have an opportunity to come out the other way. Plant just losing it off the end of the tape, and we'll have an offside on the play with 5:29 in the period.
Yeah, it's not quite going right for the minute for the Tigers. You can see they're not getting frustrated, but at the minute it's just not, the passes are just a little bit behind the guy, or the bounces aren't going for them, and they just need to sort of, I don't know whether they need a spark from somewhere, whether it's a big hit or I don't think they will drop the gloves, but they need something from somewhere, because at the minute they're just really flat, and the Bison are pretty much bossing the game at the minute.
Yeah, and Doug Shepherd using the opportunity to get that third line out of Sutton, Petts and Wilson, just giving them a bit of ice time, getting some legs rest, because it was a good little run earlier on. And they're actually going out against the import line for the Tigers as Super looks to take it forward. He dances round one, dances round two, dances round three, but he's driven wide there by Dewey. He does well to stand him up. In behind the back of the net, Super still gets the shot off, but Skins is alert to it.
Yeah, he was. That was great play by Super actually, really well dangled in the zone, and Skins had to be alert on his near post to stop him there.
It's fair to say he was living up to his name there for a little bit of time.
Yep.
There.
And for those viewers who can't quite see, there's a large conga going around the. I think it's those Whitley Warrior fans again. They've had a long day.
A very long day. I was about to say we're going to try and get a shot of those on the far side. They did. That's actually being led by a couple of Steelers at the front, Steel Dog fans at the front. There they are. Yeah, they were doing the conga earlier on, which got everybody excited, and now it's off again.
Yeah, you can't beat a conga, can you? It's I wouldn't join in, but obviously because
I always wonder about what moment do you go, I'm going to be the one that starts the conga? That's the moment.
It's usually about 5 pints. Yeah. That's the moment.
That's about the right way. Miller's going to get a shot off here. Rebound in front, falls down, and the Tigers rushing in there to try and get something on it is Watkins, but he can't. The clearance out, and Skins has to. Well, if he was a baseball fielder there. He would have denied a home run. Instead, it's just a cover-up for the thing. Yeah, I always wonder the first person who goes, I'll lead the conga. Follow me, lads. Follow me.
The Mexican wave, isn't it? Yeah, he's the first guy. I'm going to do it. Let's get this stadium on the do a Mexican wave. But I mean, once you get it going, you know, you've done it. You've done it. You've achieved it. You've had the whole stadium doing. No, they're tired now. I think one lap was enough.
One lap was enough. Well, the lad who started the first one off, he disappeared up very quickly into the crowd as the big shot comes in past the point. He sort of did the first one, realised the error of his ways, I think, as he realised. He's probably used to doing it on a smaller ice pad. We're on the Olympic ice surface here. It's a bit further to make it the circumference.
Doing Gosport or Grimsby, and it's fine.
Forward comes Halford, gets it on tip at the net there for Silverthorne, and they're getting there now. Yep. At least they're getting that lane. They're getting to the person in the trapping.
They're asking questions. They're asking questions, which they haven't been there. And yet again, Skins had to be alert. Luckily, the tip went at him, but. Yeah, this is what Telford need to do. To me, Telford need. I mean, it's obvious. I think they need to get the next goal. I think 4-0 becomes a bit of a mountain, especially with the Bison's defensive record. They've let in less goals than any other team in the Britain Conference. So, yeah, Telford definitely need, I would say, to get the next goal.
No icing on the. Yeah, indeed. Well, Kev, who's on is Kev still on camera? As that one comes out into the point as the shot goes by. We were talking yesterday about next goal wins. Are we at that point yet, Kev? No, big shake of the head. We went for it yesterday. He was calling it early doors. 10 minutes into the game, next goal wins. Reynolds with the shot from the point, rebound in front, and Bell having to be alert there as the big washout comes from Brooks.
Nervy times again, but we look there. What is it? 5-on-5, 2-point men, wide open. They're not picking up the points at all. I don't know if that's deliberate or what, but they're just not. It looks like they're killing penalties.
Yeah, which is bizarre, because if Coach Watkins had watched yesterday's game, you'd have seen the Bison, as you say, the point men sometimes jump in, and there's maybe an opportunity to get that breakaway, and that's all you need to get yourself back and get a foothold back in this game.
As a D-man, there's nothing worse than having you two wingers sticking up on the point and stopping you get the shot away.
Indeed, well, there's the Weaver, as you say. Great pass out the zone as it finds Taylor. Taylor's got support on the far side if he can find him. Dewey did well, though, to stop that initial pass. Taylor was probably coming in a bit too much speed to be able to do too much with it. As instead it's held up behind the back of the net where Tate picks it up. Tate works it back out to Stokes, who just dumps it around the boards, where Super's trying to get going against Mogg. And Super, well, appears to beat his man out because Tate has now got control of it again. Looks it. Oh, it's a great stick on the play there by Petts, just breaking up any momentum. Tigers get it back as Taylor tries to feed it into Super. Broken up by Mogg. Time on the puck here for the Tigers. Could be quite good as it's a big fan on the puck there by Jones, who isn't happy with himself for doing so and gives up playing the puck and decides he's going to drop his stick and have a word with Petts instead. And now the Bison come out the other way. It's a 3-on-2 break, actually. If Sutton works it into Petts, Petts' his shot. Rebound comes in. Pad save. Back around again to Sutton, who gets driven into the board for his troubles. Rose trying to then get it. It's a good hit there by Petts as the drive comes in from Smith. And Bell had to be more than alert to that. And a little bit of afters with Sutton as Jones, I think, is just trying to spark it with the fight now.
Well, Jones is frustrated a little bit there because it came out to the point and he sort of fanned on his shot, and it's kind of escalated from there. And, there was no traffic in front of Bell. There's no reason to start pushing him, and a little bit of frustration there from the Telford D-man. But understandable, the 3-0 down. You do a mistake like that on the blue line and everyone can see it, and you kind of you want to try and make up for it. But yeah, he's having a word with his teammates now. He's okay, and I think it's no penalties either.
No, actually good officiating there from Brooks. Nothing really there in the end. There was no need to step in and make it more than it is. As Scott keeps that one in on the point. Just allow the players to play. You want the players to decide it. And so far they are, as Karpov works it around. Reynolds with the drive again. Bell having to be very alert there. Very nice pad save with a big rebound on it. And Scott collects it in neutral ice and will look to dump it around the boards, where Bell has to just play it in deep to Rose. Rose will come back the other way now with it. Into Halford, who dumps onto the on-rushing Silverthorne. Silverthorne goes into the boards against Reynolds there. They battle it out in the corner. 8:50 gone in the period. The Tigers man can only find him, and it's another 2-on-2 break here if they work this, because Antonov's coming forward. It's got Smith in support. The Tigers do get the man back. It's going to lay out to Karpov, though, who's rushing on and lays it across. Unfortunately for him, Smith had just overskated the pass. Antonov with it again. He's looking for Smith down inside. Smith nearly got the pass into Karpov there. Maybe took the low percentage pass, and instead he's going to have to go back the other way because Halford's got it. Tries to toe drag. Nice little play. Going to get the shot off. Rebounds, hits the netting, but it's the side netting.
Bit of showboating there from the Taylor.
Halford, that was a nice little bit of just showing what he can do, a little bit of just putting it in the defenders' minds for later in the game, as Miller will now take it forward, and if anybody can do a toe drag, it is Joe Miller, as Watkins will now try and work this one across. Got the man on the point, but instead goes in deep to his support, and that's where Miller steps across. Good hit on the play there by Scott. Two physical players in Miller and Scott trying to work that one out from each other. Scott just having a few words, lays it off into Watkins. Watkins under pressure though from Malinek, who gets the stick in there. And that's done well there by Watkins to try and turn that into something. Instead it does come out the other way. Smith, Antonov and Malinek, as he'll take the chance to change up the lines as Bell's forced into a cover.
That was the difference there. You know, you said Watkins was working hard there on the boards. He went, you know, you rightly said he had the point man open, but also Antonov had his head in a swivel. Antonov was, you know, not much more than stick and a half length away. So Watkins sees that and can't pass it back to him because there's a risk of a breakaway, and that's what Telford haven't been doing.
Well, for most people it's not a stick length, but for Antonov it's a stick length. You're not joining this game.
No, I know what's coming.
Indeed, Mogg tries to dump it around and trying to find something, but the Tigers will do well to block Davies' path. And Bison beginning to throw the body as Connolly steps in now, trying to work it onto the backhand, gets the shot off. Broken up though, and coming back the other way now is Taylor. He's got some legs when he gets them going. Held up there well though by the back checking Sutton, that was there. There's Connolly now with it, and he'll have to try and work this one out. Dewey going to be under a little bit of pressure here in his own end, as the Tigers do well to keep it alive. Tate works it around the boards, but no one there as Mogg will work it out, and Davies going to be under a bit of pressure from Super. But the Bison again have it in neutral ice. Connolly taking it forward. Dumps it across. Bell didn't get the clean glove on it, only just got the arm on it, so it's going to stay alive. And the Tigers, under a bit of pressure, do get it out. Tate then tries to work it into Plant, but Plant was, unfortunately for him, looking the other way. Great stick play there by Davies, and Karpov going to put Stokes under a bit of pressure. 11 minutes gone in the period as Karpov tries to find a way around. Man out on the point is Reynolds, who drives again. Blocker save, rebound in front. Bell alert to that one there, actually. Good alertness there off the initial save.
Yeah, I think the puck came straight out. Was it Pets?
Yeah, Pets, yeah.
Came straight out into his chest, and he tried to chest it past Bell there. That's a nightmare as a forward. I mean, what's he supposed to do with that?
Just trying to hit the chest and skate with it. Yeah. Follow it all the way. Silverhorn dumps it across ice for Plant to chase in and put Reynolds under pressure. But actually it will be Pets coming out the other way for the Bison as the Tigers were mid-line change. Pets deciding that he didn't fancy taking it, the clean hit, so just dumped the pass off. Plant then dumps it forward to Silverthorn, who will try and get around Scott, but Scott uses the body well to stand him up. Malinek will have to go into a battle as it works all the way around to Goodison. Goodison with it. Trying to get the jump, but Malinek's there. Actually, a good little layoff because Halford's going to get the chance to keep this one live for the Tigers. Fights it to Silverthorn, who's shot. Well, that's one of the few times Silverthorn's got clear tonight, but that one goes up into the netting. Yeah,
he popped up in a good position there, but thankfully the Bison, you know, the Bison forward there was alert and sort of angled him away. And he did get a shot away, went over the bar there, but it's, you know, guys like that, Silverthorn, Plant, you know, we keep talking about Weaver. It's the same, you know. I often do commentary and you keep saying the same guys' names over and over again, but it's because those guys are the guys who they make things happen. And you know, if you're a Bison fan, you don't want Silverthorn popping up in that area too many times.
And there again, Dean Skins losing the stick, so actually he takes a player's stick as Stuart Mogg now returns his stick. And it goes all the way back. Shot comes in, rebound in front.
You felt that.
And that was Sutton who's down on that one, who felt that one as Watkins. Battling it out as Miller collects it. Miller lays it off. Shot. Good save in front there. As the man now Sutton takes the second one in there as well. He's been in the walls as Malinek gets a shot off. Tried to use the screen of Rose, but couldn't get it over the glove. And yeah, Sutton very much been in the walls there for a little while.
Oh, that's a howler that. Yeah, straight off the foot, and he's struggling to stand up there. I think the physio should become a sports therapist. They don't like being called physios, do they? The sports therapist is attending to him on the bench.
It's amazing how sport changes, and it just becomes sport therapists these days.
They're the last people you want to annoy as well as a sports therapist, because they can get you in some quite uncompromising positions.
How's that groin strain?
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking
what
about.
Groin strain?
Yeah, I'm not touching it.
Stokes then clears that one out as the onrushing Tigers looking to build on something as Taylor dumps it in, forcing the Bison on the back foot. Taylor picks it up, gets the layoff actually, quite smart bit of play to Super. But Malinek just keeping a stick in the lane, making Super work hard. Tries to go around the back of the net, driven hard into the board. Super comes away with it though. Goes backhand across the crease. Warren Tate sniffing as Weaver drives it in the other side as well. Skins trying to clean up the near post, and that one escapes out the zone where actually Wilson's going to put Stokes under a bit of pressure. Connolly comes rushing across, but the Tigers look like they're going to get hold of this one in neutral ice, and they do as Silverthorne looks to try and dance this one around. Gets it across the crease where Weaver was up in the high gate. Weaver deciding it's time to come off the point there because it was a good opportunity. Instead, Karpov comes out the other way. He looks to dance, does so, lays it off into the wrist shot, and the rebound goes up over by Wilson. Great save there by Bell.
Fantastic there, the far post. And then he got a second chance at it as well, Wilson, and just didn't fall for him, but brilliant save there by Dennis Bell.
Indeed, Halford then comes back the other way. That puck wasn't covered up, but referee Brooks decided it was. Yeah, it was a great save at the other end there by Bell. Not sure, no, the first one was good, and then the second one just made it extra special.
He's been busy this period as well, to be fair to Bell. He's really saved his team from going any further goals behind. Skins too, good performance on the other end of the pipes, but yeah, great save. And you need, big game, big goalies, so that's what you need. Well, he's not particularly big.
Well, once they put the pads on, they are. Yeah. Fill the crease. Need to make those pads smaller still, though. Anyway, Rose out there, stays in the zone, but Davies keeps the pressure on. And now Antonov's going to come away with Davies in support the other side. Davies trying to lay it across to Antonov. Antonov gets the shot off! What a great pass from Dan Davies! And what a great finish by Vanya Antonov as Bell was coming across. Let's look at it on the replay. Look at it again. All those sticks in the lane. Antonov even nearly losing control of it, but actually just buries it home. 4-0 to the Bison.
The sauce on that pass, absolutely amazing there by Dan Davies. He had to get it inch perfect. And Antonov, he's provided so many goals. I think he's got 40 assists this year. He's got a lot of assists. And what a finish as well past Bell. Bell had to come across and he just picked his spot in the far corner. It was a fantastic finish by Antonov. And you look at those Telford fans over there, and I think they know that it's going to be a big road back if they want to get anything out of this game.
Be one of the most epic capitulations if it happens, it has to be said. Your knowledge is spot on. 40 assists, you knew that straight off the top of your head. Coming forward, Connolly, as that one fires over the bar for Bell. Yeah, he went, I think he's got. He gave it, you said, I think he's got. You knew all along.
That's a I'm not good with numbers. We've already talked about the scoreboard counting the wrong way.
As that one's dumped in by the Tigers, covered up by Skins as Miller. Yeah,
spray there by Miller.
Miller's just put Scott onto Skins and
little cheeky little spray into Skins' face there. But they've got to find a way back somehow. And as I say, I don't think it's going to be sparked by any fighting. I wouldn't have thought. So they just need a goal. They just need to dig out a goal. They've got just over 5 minutes left of the second period, and coming back from 4 goals down in 20 minutes, in the final period, I don't think they can wait that long.
No, and for Tigers fans and some of the players in the team, it'll be the second year they've come to Coventry and got to the finals. Weaver's big shot gets blocked in front. It'll be the second year they've come to Coventry and ended up kind of being blown out a little bit in the finale. They got blown out last year as Tate tries to lay it across the slot. They got blown out last year by the Milton Keynes Lightning in the finale. So yeah, you just don't know as they try and work it around to Super here. Super trying to spark something.
Weaver playing up front as well.
And there's a turn and shot there by Tate. Whistles it past the post. Maybe that's what they need to do. John Weaver just roll back the clock one more time and just bring that little bit of control of the puck to the forward line. Yeah,
they've been a bit ragged, and throughout the game they just for the calibre of players on there. As I said before, I think a lot of it's just the Bison's work rate. They've been working their socks off all game, and it's hard to play against no matter how good you are.
Yeah, indeed. The Telford threw the body earlier on. Completely right against the Bison. You've got to get physical against them. I think you can sometimes throw them off their game. Maybe that's what they're just going to have to do for a little while as Silverthorne follows in there. Maybe they're just going to have to, again, for 5 minutes, step up a bit of intensity and just...
But the Bison have got them exactly where they want them now, because Tommy Watkins down there, he's going to have to put his better players on the ice more and more just to try and get something out of it. We talked about the long bench. There are a lot of guys there at the end who haven't hit the ice, but they're probably not going to now because they're chasing the game at 4-0 down, and he's not going to throw the kids on cold.
No, indeed. I was about to say, I'm looking down at the bench. Morgan, Mitchell, Jessen, Moreland. Oliver. I've not seen them hit the ice yet tonight for the Tigers. So he's got a deep bench, but it's not all going to be used. the Bison, pretty much every player is doing regular to semi-regular shifts.
Yeah.
As that one will go all the way across there. Dan Scott just leaving that for Skins, and Skins dealing with it as well. Scott tries to clear it out of the zone. Can't do so though, because Reynolds is going to... Oh, and Reynolds lost an edge there and went face first into the board. That was not pretty whatsoever.
I think he's smiling. He might be all right.
Oh. Yeah, that's not pretty. Straight away, Brooks hitting the whistle.
Well, Plant's upset from the earlier play as well. He's having a bit of an argument with Brooksy now. I didn't even know the referee was mic'd up there.
Yeah, Brooksy and Miller having a little chat there about why that was being blown up, and Miller's complaining that he should have been allowed to go on. But
yeah, and I mean, but Telford are going to be frustrated at this point in the game. You know, they're going to try and get in the referee's ear. I mean, ideally they want to try and get a power play just to try and get a breakthrough like that, because at the minute, 5-on-5, the Bison seem to be quite comfortable.
Exactly, and that's a bit of a problem for them with these 4 minutes remaining in this period, as that one works across Davies. Oh, Connolly, and I always hate it when the goalie has that little look over the shoulder.
Yeah, he didn't. He wasn't quite sure where he was, but you know, a good goalie will always have that positioning well. But unbelievable there, Dan Davies wide open there in front of goal, and Dennis Bell yet again. He doesn't really need to, you know, as long as he's got his body in the right position, he doesn't always need to make the move with his glove or his blocker. As long as it, you know, digs in somewhere, he's done his job.
You've just got to stop the shot. As Connolly, that again, the Tigers waiting for that one to come out. Connolly deciding to step in, and now Davies will try and work this one around in deep. As Davies comes under pressure from Goodison, driven into the boards. Connolly there as well. Pair of them battling it out in there. Brooks keeping the puck alive, saying the puck's still playable, and do so, work it around there. Manlick just losing it off the end of the take there, comes under pressure. And the Tigers will come out the other way with it as Miller drops it off into Watkins. Watkins snapshot, good pad save as Miller tries to stick it in from high, and then Skins is down on the puck as well.
A good little passage of play there between Joe Miller and Watkins there. Yeah, again though, you know, they're half chances. They're not, you know, they're not really carving them open. And another good job by the Bison D, who've been good all game. I like Jack Watkins has got a good flow going on at the back, hasn't he?
Yeah, he does. Considering it,
he looks so much like Tommy and Joey.
I was about to say, considering has Jack just got all of Tommy's hair or something? This is done a trade up on this.
Yeah, it's a big hockey family. The Watkins have been around a long time. All lovely guys as well.
Well, exactly, and that's it, isn't it? Like so many hockey families, you can think of the Johnsons and all those as well. The Redmonds we've spoken about, and all these as well. And like, these great hockey families. We'll talk about the Cars as well. Might as well put them in that conversation, shall we?
One of them. Not the one here.
No, the one who does his contribution. That's the most important thing as well. As the shot comes in, which they have to be sure about. But it's great when you see these families, and like there are fans who will be looking around at some of these guys tonight. As it's a hit there from Dewey. You'll see the names coming around that they've watched for 15, 20 years, and you're watching younger brothers, younger siblings, sometimes sons, sometimes cousins and nephews and nieces.
It's just one of those sports, isn't it, where you're, you know, you just get it becomes part of your lifestyle, and you know, if you're down the rink a lot, your kids will come down the rink with you, and such a great sport to be involved in, as long as you know you've got the means to be involved. And you know, I think there's no better sport in the world, but I mean, I would obviously say that.
If you say anything different right now, there might be a few questions being asked.
And I'm a Sunderland fan, so obviously football was.
Well, we don't. I got told by someone not to ask about anything to do with that. And unfortunately, I've got a friend, someone I work with is both a Sunderland and a York City fan. So at the moment, he's just.
Yeah, that's a life for you, isn't it? Yeah. I was thinking, the only thing worse, I was thinking if I was being a Sunderland fan, if I was a Lee Valley Lions fan. I've got a lot of friends who play for Lee Valley and they haven't won a game this year, and I think if I was closely involved with Lee Valley and a Sunderland fan, I think I'd just give up on sport.
Go pick up.
Shout out to the Lee Valley guys, lovely bunch of lads, but hopefully they get a win before the end of the season. No,
exactly. Same here as well. At the end of the day, it's all about the commitment over the year these guys put in. They're turning up at least they're turning up. They've not given up. They're going out there every week and putting it in there. Same with the Cardiff Fire, obviously in the EPIHL 1. They turned up every night, and Jordan Lauday walked away with the All-Star netminder selection.
He did, and you know, we talk about the way the league's changed. I mean, I watched Cardiff a few times, and you know, they end up taking the point of Swindon by the end of which is just mind blowing when you look at the players who Swindon have and where Cardiff have come from. But they're not that bad a hockey team. They've got, you know, They've got some good players there. It's just that the standard's just that little bit too high for them at the minute. But I guarantee most of those young players there will come back better players from that experience. And there's nothing better than, you know, those guys who played every game of the season. You know, they've travelled all around. They know they're going to lose a lot of games, but they just play for the love of it and they want to get better. And I think it's fantastic.
And so, of course, the gloves say that. But no, I agree. And that's the thing. It's not like they've gave up. They kept going. They kept coming around. And okay, this year it's not gone well, but next year they'll have that experience, and they're used to the league a bit more. They're used to playing in these environments and all these different rings.
Well, you look at Lorde. I mean, it'll be interesting to see if he's still there next year. Because I mean, what did he face? Don't double check this stats, but I'm sure it was 1,300 shots or something he faced over the season. I mean, he won't get that at any other club, I wouldn't have thought. But you know, there'll be teams looking at him and thinking, you know, we'll take a punt on him, you know.
Well, exactly, and he's young as well, and it's not like he's an older guy. He's a young kid, and he'll be better for the experience, and he'll be. Yeah. That's kind of what you want to see, and that's what it's going to be about. Next year, it's another step on. Obviously, you're going to see more players will come back, more juniors will come in as well, who are ready to make the step up into senior hockey. As McKenzie takes it forward, gets the shot off, Skins has to save it. It's a big rebound in the slot that the Bison able to get clear as we go into the final minute of the period.
Yeah, nothing's really, I mean, you know, we were talking about Telford, but I also think not much has fallen for them either there. You know, that was a decent little passage of play, got the shot away, but the rebound's just not dropping for them. You know, they had a guy in the back post there. Just nothing's quite working out for them at the minute. No,
unfortunately for them, maybe they're going to have a little bit more to come in this period. Maybe in the third period you'd like to see for their fans a goal.
Yeah, definitely.
As Tate works that one in to Taylor. Maybe the goal's going to come now as Taylor's shot is blocked in front as we enter the final 30 seconds of the period. As Davies can have that one in deep now. That's a pass into Karpov that he just couldn't get control of. It's going to come back the other way. Super gets the shot off. Dean Skins just letting everybody know his glove still works. Still fine, guys. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, again, another good effort there. Telford getting the shots away. But little snapper straight in the glove of Skins. Skins reasonably comfortable with that from Super. And like I say, there's what, there's 1941, so 20 minus 1941.
19 seconds, 19 seconds, I think.
19 seconds.
You can never trust the Coventry clock, though. Always love the Coventry clock, that it's actually a basketball clock. Anyway, Smith, that's why he got the numbers down the side. Smith with the shot then. Save, and then off the post.
Off the post, yeah.
How close did Josh Smith come to his second of the night right there, as we're talking about basketball clocks? Sorry, Josh, that's nearly a moment for him, but it's the end of the period there. It's another 2-goal period for the Basingstoke Bison. It's another 2 goals on the radar. First Josh Smith putting one in, and then Vanya Antonov after a great pass from Dan Davies. Davies? Goodness me, it's a new name. Switched his name, Dan Davies there with that. So the Bison extending out to a 4-goal advantage. Is it game over?
I think the referees will be pleased so far. There hasn't been too much for them to do at the minute, and I think they'll be hoping that the last period as well, the officials, I think they'll be hoping there's no drama either.
It's been a weekend for that. The officials really haven't had to do much. Brooks' correct penalty shot call yesterday, yeah, it's kind of been it. And thankfully for them, hopefully it will stay the same.
Yeah, hopefully.
As Miller tries to work that one forward into Weaver. Weaver jumping forward into the play. He's got Silthorne at the net, gets the shot off, it's past the post. So Miller's gone up on the line with Plant, and that's a big hit on the play on Antonov there. But Miller's gone up on the line now instead of Halford with Plant and Silverthorne. So already a few changes coming in from Coach Watkins as he tries to just shake it up a little bit different. As Malinik looks for the cross-ice pass into Smith, but the bounce off the board's always going to fall favourably to him. The Coventry bounces off the dead boards, doing their usual damage out there for players' hopes and aspirations. It's collected in behind the back of the net by Weaver, expecting to see maybe 15 minutes out of Weaver in this period if they're to have any way back, as Watkins dumps that one in, but it comes back out and Connolly collects it, forcing McKenzie to work around as that one's going to get dumped around the board. So it looks like another line change with Watkins, Halford and McKenzie now together, so no sight of Super at the moment. Maybe Watkins hoping he can get Super out against the Bison Young line and see if that might bring some difference to the game.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if Dougie Shepherd changes his lines and shortens it down a little bit and gives the third line every other shift rather than rolling the lines. You know, as far as Dougie's concerned, there's not, I don't know if I can call him Dougie. Don't know him personally.
Call him Dougie.
I'll call him Dougie.
Yeah, call him Dougie.
But as far as he's concerned, what does he need to change, really? His team's been fantastic so far and they've shown up to the game and they just need to carry on doing what they've been doing.
It does so. At the moment, Shepherd staying with the line. He's putting the youngsters back out there again. They are going up against Super and Tate and Taylor. So this could be quite an interesting battle now in here. Maybe this is where the game might change as Taylor tries to bring it forward, especially with his speed, as it's broken up into Tate and he dumps it around the boards. But Scott's the man who wins the race and gets it around to Sutton, who lays it off into Petts, who was on rushing through the centre ice. Lays it across to Wilson. Wilson's out wide, but we'll go for the shot on Bell. And Wilson goes hard into the boards. Luckily for him, he's going to be back up onto his feet and going again. As Taylor comes back the other way. Taylor trying to dance around Dewey. Tate gets there first, but the puck is deflected in behind the net. And they work it out and around. How can they do this one into Tate here? Promising signs for Telford. If you're going to take small, they're beginning to hold on to the puck at times when they move into the zone. Yeah,
they look like they're a lot more composed than they have been. But yeah, again, Bison aren't really giving them much to work with. And already, first 2 minutes over. You know, we always say first 2 minutes of each, first and last 2 minutes of each period are always important for momentum. And there, look at Antonov again, yet again, getting his body in the way, making a nuisance of himself, and he's caused another turnover.
Of course, Karpov went for the shot, but it went disappearing across the front of Dennis Bell there. Yeah, it's going to be fascinating, this. The Bison don't have to do too much. And that's another interception on the play there by Antonov, well read, who will lay it in for Davies to chase on with, and that's going to be an icing call, but it's not, because Davies won the foot race. He gets held up amongst the boards.
The Bison aren't really forechecking so much now. They're just laying a trap, waiting for the Tigers to try and break out and just taking the lanes away. And the Tigers are going to have to work really hard to try and just basically get it into the Bison zone at the minute. You've got Malinek on the puck now, and he's another player who's come into his own towards the end of the season.
Yes, it took a while to get going as Malinek works into the slot there with the shot. Yeah, it took a while to get going, Malinek. It certainly his early numbers, they were obviously the Bison started the season with Yaroslav Seski. That didn't work out for whatever reason. And the trade up into Malinek has proved dividends because it's provided that second line of scoring, which is all important sometimes.
Of course, I mean, Seski's a different type of player as well. Seski's he's getting a little bit older, so rather than the out-and-out sniper, he tends to be sort of the deep forward that's breaking with quality and, using his passing. But the Bison didn't need that. They needed someone to score goals, and, fair play to Doug Shepherd. He had to make a decision, and he did.
Scott McKenzie trying to work that one around. But unfortunately he's held up there by Reynolds, and actually Sutton loses hold of the handle on the stick, and Petts plays it out, takes a hit for his troubles, and now Wilson will try and chase in there as well. But it falls to Sutton, who steps in, and he'll get a chance to drive. Well broken up there with the stick by Corey Goodison, who plays it off the backboards. Sorry, that was Super actually. I saw the six and assumed it was one. It was actually the other, as Jones will now take it forward, lays it into Tate. And Tate gets the shot off, deflected past the post to Skins. Tigers still keeping it in there with Super. Looking for support. It's driven into a ball battle. Tate tries to dance away, held up by the Bison. Jones throws the body. And Tate has to work it all the way back into his own zone. 5 minutes gone in the period. Quarter of the job done for the Bison.
It is, yeah, and that's these little milestones as a coach and a set of players. Getting through each sort of 5 minute chunk of the game just edges you that little bit closer. And sometimes coaches will say, let's take it in 5 minute chunks or 10 minute chunks and go from there. But 5 minute 20 gone, and you have to say, other than that first chance for Silverthorne, there hasn't been any clear opportunities for Telford.
Weaver jumps in. He's going to try and work something out. Throws the puck on the net, but Tiger man Silverthorne blows his tyre on the way there, and now Antonov going to come under a bit of pressure, and Weaver throwing the body, just letting him know he's there. Good little experienced hit there.
Yeah, very good hit.
Not much to read into it, just a good throw of the body. That's all it needed to be.
And that looks okay as well.
And that's a tip on which will force Skins into the cover-up, and he gets another little gift from Miller. And Scott just goes through the back, and again, maybe even it's something as silly as that. Scott reacting, draws a 2 minute penalty.
Yeah, they don't need it. Bison don't need anything, and I think Brooks is going to come and try and have a word with them. He's doing a Blaine Evans. He's beckoning them across with the old finger. And, yep. Oh, I don't know what he's saying. He hasn't quite got Blaine's theatrics there, has he? Blaine makes it a lot more obvious, and he's having a little chat with him now. I like Blaine though. I always like Blaine. I always say this because he gets a lot of critics, Blaine, but I always thought he's consistent. He doesn't always get everything right, but he's got skin as thick as a rhino. He isn't going to take anything personally, and he just referees it as he sees it.
Exactly, and it's one of those things where some guys are obviously changing and getting used to the league. That's one thing, is Blaine's style of refereeing. It doesn't have its fans.
They're probably thinking, why is he still here?
Yeah.
Should be retired. Sorry, Blaine.
But it's no, as Davey steps in, shoots, forces Bell to throw the stick at it and doesn't come up with anything. But he's one of the, again, without those guys who are still donning the stripes every weekend, still putting the armbands on, there's no sport. And
there's not, and it's interesting with the two leagues, the way they kind of amalgamated a little bit. You tend to have the same officials as well, you know. It wasn't. It's pretty much the same officials as they had before, really. Stephen Matthews, an up-and-coming official, but there's not actually a massive depth of referees who are ready for this kind of game and the pace that these players play with. You know, there's a lot of younger officials who are aspiring to get to that level, but it takes time. You know, and that's why people like Blaine and Dave Cloutman have lasted so long, because you know the quantity of officials coming through isn't that high.
Exactly, and it's always great when you see. I mean, you could talk about someone like Steph Hogarth, who has moved on, come up through the ranks, gone to it. Even someone like Paul Brooks. I've watched Paul running lines for years. In the EPL, he was beginning to get a few games at the end of last season. Now he's just a permanent fixture of referee as a young lad, and he's getting the biggest game of the season as well.
I mean, I don't know how. I mean, I'm sure they've got their own system of allocating these games. I mean, obviously for the officials, as a player, you tend not really think too much about the officials. But I was down there earlier, and they've got Dave Cloutman's there, Pickett, who did the Oxford game. They're all fist pumping the officials as they come on the ice. To them, it's a massive occasion. You know, it's something that they'll probably get a little medallion or something to say they did it, and it's just as big for those guys as it is for the players, which you don't always think about.
No, exactly. They are the third team, I keep being told to call them, as the shot comes in, rebound in front. Yeah, they're the third team at the weekend, and they're not shy about letting you know that.
Of course not.
As a shot comes in, I think Wilson again. That must be about the third time the Bison have hit the post here. Maybe the second time, actually, to be fair. The other one was the Telford at the other end, when it looked like it came off the post. But they've gone close on the woodwork both sides. Is that bouncing off the backboard and trying to find it around, and Brooks finds himself in the meat of the action there. Just wants to move out of the way of that one quickly. As Mogg trying to set Karpov free down the middle, he'll just tip it on and chase it in and force Miller on the back foot. And his
there we go.
The little quirks of an ice rink, hey?
Yeah, it was funny that, because it just stopped dead, didn't it? And I thought, what's going on there? I think it hit the netting and just dropped. But yep, time ticking away yet again. You know, that's another 2.5 minutes gone. Gone through stages. You've got just over, what? We'll do the maths again. What is 20 minus 7 minutes 44?
Right, 30, 12, 22.
No, not long to get 4 goals.
No, not long. Well, it only takes a second, and you've seen games where, again, 4 does feel like it's too many, and that's a big hit.
Highlight reel.
As through the board disappears Jason Silthorne there after a big hit.
And Brooks hadn't called it either, which was interesting.
No, as Karpov tries to go around, that's a great hit. Clean as a whistle as well from Adam Jones. And Miller gets the other side of his man to break out the ice, and a couple of big... The volley's being thrown at the moment. As Silverthorne works it in, gets the shot off, rebound in front, rebound still there. Broken up there by a mixture, I'm not sure if it was boot, bum or hand there that kept that one from going in.
Yeah, but they're living life dangerously there, the Bison. Yeah, as you say, some big hits being through there. Telford have got some big old boys as well, haven't they? You know, they're not a small team.
No, they're not.
And when they are throwing the body and they do connect, you don't half feel it.
And maybe that's the thing. You might just throw a couple of hits. It might draw. All it takes is you get that escalation that you can see. The penalty gets called, and all of a sudden you got a power play opportunity, and that can be sometimes what you just need to get that change in luck.
But there's hardly been any penalties, has there? I mean, that's the one thing. How many power plays have we seen tonight? Not many.
We've seen 2 for the Bison because they scored on 2 of them, but that's it. It's been very limited in the amount of power play opportunities.
But you know, like you said, you don't want the referees and having much to do with the game either.
That's a lovely pass there by Weaver, trying to find the man in the slot. Agree, yeah. Sometimes you've come here and seen games be referee shows, and thankfully this time it's not. As Antonov gets the chance to skate away one-on-one against Stokes, trying to work it into Davies on rushing. Davies gets the shot off, but disappears past the post. I do fancy the Bison are just sitting and waiting on the break at the moment and just wondering who might...
They don't need to do anything, do they? They don't need to sort of do anything flash. They just need to try and keep the puck and keep Telford out of the dangerous areas.
As we'll have offside on the play
there. Great play there by Petts there, tying up his man on the blue. Offside call. More frustration from Telford.
And it's those little things you dare I say, probably most of the fans in the building haven't noticed that, and are probably looking at Halford going, well, how's he lost control of that? But you're quite rightly saying the guy's just steps in, taking his man, gets the offside, and it's simple as that. You get a break in play.
I've been really impressed with this. These youngsters from Basingstoke. I haven't actually noticed them too much during the season. Not saying they haven't been playing, it's just because I haven't seen too many Bison games, but they've really stepped up to the plate tonight. Wilson, Pets, they've given as good as they've got, and as we said earlier, the more guys you can use to good effect, the better in games like this, because it's tiring.
Exactly. As the board battle goes on there, Bison coming away with it as Scott will lay it into Connolly, who's on rushing. Connolly looking for his 5th goal of the weekend. That's going to be a save there for Bell instead. How's it been for Stretton this season in the NIHL?
They started a lot of cup games, which they won I think they won 7. They won all 7 of their cup games against London and Invicta. And then they really wobbled when they started playing the ex-EPL teams. They kind of struggled to step up. I think it was more the discipline, to be honest, because the EPL sides had a little bit more quality. Stretton were getting sucked into penalties, and to be honest, nearly all the goals they were letting in were all on the power play. But once they sorted that out, I saw them beat Basingstoke, they beat Swindon. They look a good team. They just kind of ran out of steam towards the end of the season, and it's difficult sometimes when you've got teams. I've said this before, that down the lower ends of the table, and then they're waiting for the playoffs. They're playing league games where it doesn't really matter, and Stretton it was like that. When by the time they came to the playoffs, they give Swindon a game, but they've been coasting.
Josh Smith has danced round his man, gets the shot off save. Great save there, great play, great hockey. Very simple.
And then you've got London Raiders who stepped up to the plate. And
hello, this is going to be a break. Karpov into Connolly. Connolly gets the shot off rebound. Great save again by Bells. He is earning his spurs tonight for that team.
He's been brilliant, yeah. Telford are just heavily relying on me. That's 2 breakaways. And it's not like Telford have pushed forward either, That's the interesting thing.
Bison are just getting sticks in the way, and there's the penalty call coming in as Rick Plant nailed down a Bison guy who I think may have lost his helmet.
Yep, he's lost his helmet. I'm not sure who that is on the floor. Big old hit from Plant. We've got the replay coming now.
It's an elbowing call coming in, and that's Connolly who took the...
I mean, he could call that as a check to the head, mainly because of the way Connolly sort of approached the boards, but from Plant's perspective, he's angled him into the boards, and it's just a normal hit, but because Connolly dropped his head, it just looked a lot worse, basically. But we've seen those given. We've seen checking to the head penalties this year. The EIHL have come down on really hard. Backwell had got an 18-game ban. I think if it hadn't been the playoff final, he might have been looking at... and also, if the Bison player had gone, made a meal of it, which he didn't. And to be fair, both him and Karpov have had chances to make a meal of penalties, and they haven't. And it's good to see. It's
been played in the right spirit.
Yeah.
We've been disrupted on our Streatham chat as the Bison go on the power play, but unfortunately, players decided they want to play a bit of hockey for us, which is great for everybody at home. As Malinik tries to dance this one around and forward. Malinik looking for it, finds it into Mogg. Mogg gets the shot off, broken up there by Weaver. As it comes round from Sutton into Mogg. Mogg shot on, tip at the net there from Smith. Bell just seeing it and getting the cover with 11 and 10, 1 and 34 to go on the power play.
Yep, Bison doing what they need to do, keeping Telford down the right end of the ice, and yeah, I mean, I was just going to say I don't want to give London Raiders a little bit of a shout out because we talk about the old teams. They came up and took 4th place, and to be honest, I thought they gave the Bison I watched the game when they played the Bison, and they ran the Bison very close, and the Bison sort of ended up in a shootout with them, really.
Indeed, it's a shame. The game I saw between the Bison and the Raiders early in the season was unfortunately the one where Damien King got his injury, and as a result, Tom Davis had to go in there.
Yeah.
So it kind of
it was Ewan King, wasn't it?
Ewan King, sorry, apologies, who sort of took it as the big shot comes in. Rebound in front, tipped over by Pets. Yeah, and unfortunately didn't get to see the best of the Raiders that night, but as the seasons wore on, full credit to them taking 4th place in the league. Well-coached side, well-drilled, but also some great players.
They've got some good players, and a lot of people thought they might struggle, but if you look at the quality of the players, they picked up a lot of Chelmsford's better, younger players. They also picked up 2 imports who, Urich Husker was top scorer in the league the year before, so they picked up some quality, and it took them a while just to get going. A bit like Streatham as well. It took them a bit of time to get going, but once they did, once they started to lose the fear, it showed in their displays.
Indeed, Antonov there with the set-up for Sutton to take the shot with 46 seconds of the power play gone, covered up by Bell. Yeah, do we now call them London, or is it Romford again? I can't work out this.
I mean, it's classic hockey. We talk about British hockey. I think somebody owns the name Romford Raiders, so there's a big, thing about can they be called Romford Raiders. So I think they're called the Everyone Active Raiders at the minute due to a sponsorship deal, which great that they got the sponsorship. But I mean, you don't like hockey teams go by their sponsors.
We've been what? There's been the Ad Recycling Basingstoke Bison, the Paul Baldwin Agencies Basingstoke Bison. It's currently the Sheffield School Basingstoke Bison. We just try and find one that rolls off the tongue one day would be quite nice. As Mog takes the shot on. At one point there was nearly a sponsor. There were two great stories about potential sponsors. At one point there was going to be sponsored by the fast food chain Wimpy, and it would have been classic. The Wimpy Basingstoke Bison.
There's one next to me, Wimpy, still in South London. Yeah,
great stuff.
Classic milkshakes. Yeah, great milkshakes.
I'm not quite sure how a bunch of ice hockey players would have felt as the power play comes being called the Wimpy Bison.
Yeah. Isn't there one in Guildford Ice Rink as well? I think
there is one in Guildford Ice Rink. There is one in the town centre somewhere in Basingstoke as well. And another one was a window company called Excellence, and they wanted just to be known as the Excellent Bison. If they'd signed Super, it would have just been a different
Magic.
Magic, yeah.
Well, get him down.
Get him down there. Just get all the names team.
Yeah, anyone with a cool name.
That must be a competition at some point. The coolest ice hockey team that you can come up with from just a whole day on Elite Prospects trying to find great names.
There's some good ones, I forget them, but there are quite a selection.
Always love it when you find a great named player as forward. Must have been an ace at some point or something like that, as trying to dance around.
It is.
Yeah, only ace as a big hit comes in from Weaver there. Karpov comes out the other way, looking for the smarter spiff, but actually loses off the tape himself.
Hey, she played. Yeah. Karpov's been excellent today, I think, as well. His quality on the puck's fantastic. I think he's another one who's grown into the season. I think when the first
turnover in front for Conley, goes backhand, forehand, backhand, past the post. Yeah,
when he first did the start of the season, I think he was just getting used to the league. He obviously had a lot more quality than a lot of the players, but it took him a while to get his scoring touch. But you watch him now, and he's a class apart, really.
Holford takes it forward. Yeah, he's one of those exciting players, and I mean he gained the most votes for a forward in the All-Star. Obviously, didn't beat out Michael. Didn't beat out Farney for the player of the year.
Well, it was a two-horse race between the two, which was interesting because I don't think a lot of fans and people. I think a lot of guys in Basingstoke. You've had him there so long, you kind of, you know he's good, so he doesn't get, the plaudits as much. But he's, I think he's
Malinik's marauding forward here, shrugging off the men, gets the shot off. Bell coming up with the save.
Yeah, and I think it's his teammates look a little bit frustrated that he didn't make the pass there, but I mean, great hands there, fantastic hands.
His head was right up, as you see, everyone looking, going, just pass it here, pass it here. But
I mean, Bison have gone for 2 forward imports this year. And I think in this league, as long as you've got the D-men who are mobile enough to cope with it, it's the way you have to go, really. Because you can't put, scoring goals is the hardest thing. You need that quality to snipe, and a lot of the imports, these 2 imports, can do it. So
we're going to do a little bit of a sneak preview for the guys at home. Man of the matches. What are you thinking? We've been asked to have a contribution into the man of the matches for this one, which is a rare treat. It's because we've got royalty, we've got hockey royalty with us, so we get a step forward on this.
Well, I think for Telford, you can't look much further than Dennis Bell. Absolutely fantastic tonight. Saved the first shot, saved the second shot. Sometimes hasn't got the third shot, but he's really. I mean, the last time I saw Dennis Bell play was for, I think he was playing for Romford or someone, like a long time ago. He was a little dot of a guy, he was a little kid coming through. I haven't seen him for a long time, and brilliant tonight. He's done, you can't fault him for any of the goals, really. He's been fantastic.
Looks like that pick gets taken forward. I fully agree with that. I think Dennis is. Without him, it could have been even more. We could have been using the basketball scoring at certain points. And any thoughts on the Bison man of the match? That's a bit tough. It's
a tough one because they've all worked so hard, haven't they?
It's a tough one to choose from.
I would probably go with Antonov just because I think he's been a massive pain at both ends of the ice. I think you look at him now. He's wrestling Weaver at the minute against the board,
and he hasn't got his stick with him as well, which makes it even more incredible. As it works out, shot comes in, whistles past the post, maybe a bounce out in front, and we're going to have a hand pass being blown up here by referee Brooks.
Yeah, I think the 2 Bison players collided there as well. And Weaver's not happy here.
Bell for Telford, Antonov for Bison. We've got a sophisticated communication system here.
You know what? They asked me for the man of the match in the Oxford game. I gave them it, and they give it to someone else.
We'll find out how this one happens then. You can see how this is going to go.
So you never know.
Oh, it's one of those great misdemeanors in man of the match in ice hockey.
Well,
I don't want to spoil the surprise of people in this. Sometimes the man of the match that wins it is just the player that's sponsored by the people who are handing out the man of the match award.
I mean, some of the decisions are baffling at times. I mean, it can also be, you know, they just do it on points, so they get a little bit lazy and they'll say, right, so-and-so's got 1 goal and 3 points, 3 assists, so he's man of the match, right? I mean, that's an easy way of doing it, objectively, but some of them, I mean, God, I mean, over the years, some of the ones I've seen. I always tell a good story. I think we got beat, I was playing for Haringey, and we got beat 7-1, and one of our D-men got man of the match, and he was like -6, but he scored the goal. You know, and I'm just thinking, what? I mean,
there have been there have been certain players.
Obviously, it wasn't me. That's why I'm
no. There have been certain players over the years who used to film man of the match presentations, and so referee Brooks gives another penalty after a battle in the boards, and I suspect this one's going the way of. Well, he's lost his man at the moment, as there's a few little.
Mitchell's got a shift here, and he's trying to make the most of it. The 2 kids.
Great to see Watkins throwing them out. And who's he going for? It's going to be a holding call against, I think, Kurt Reynolds. Yeah, Kurt Reynolds was involved in there, holding on the ball.
I mean, look at that. He's throwing the kids out. They've worked hard in the end, in the corner, and they've got a power play out of it.
Should have done it 15 minutes ago, though.
Well, you know, I mean, Tommy's been around the block. He'll know what those kids can do, can and can't do. And
well, even more baffling, they've been playing in an under-18s game this morning up in Hull, which just shows you that. We talked about the scheduling with Oxford having to play the night before, and then you've got a load of players had to go up and go play for the under-18s in Telford.
Well, when you're that age, you can do it.
Yeah, they're young enough, aren't they?
And I mean, the thing is, you know, you ask those kids, do you want to play both games? And they'll say, yeah. You know, like, it's always, I mean, over the years, you've had loads of kids doing that. And some teams actually rely on their kids. You know, if they're under 18s, back in the day, some teams, if their under 19s aren't playing, or under 18s, it really affects their squad. Their squad just isn't good enough to cope with those quality guys not playing. Because sometimes age is just a number, and you know, that's what I always tell myself.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it definitely is these days. Definitely.
But
reached the tipping point. It is now just a number.
And now they've done their job, got a power play, and it's up to the experienced guys now to try and make it pay.
Exactly, as Goodison tries to play it in deep to Plant. Plant with control, minute and 50 of the power play to go. Back across to Weaver on the point. Weaver goes into Plant. Plant looks for the man on the far side, but all he can find is Dan Scott. That's a pass from Telford Tigers of yesteryear.
A lot more measured there, though, weren't they, Telford? You know, when you compare that with the Bison power play, which is all moving the puck fast, you know, moving their legs fast. Telford's more about positioning and setting themselves up.
As Rick Plant does on the wheel around into Goodison, his shot up and a high and wide and handsome. As Plant tries to lay it in there, shot again, good pad save there by Skins. And Scott's there to try and get out the zone, and he does so. Weaver can't keep that one in with 1 and 15 to go on the power play. Across the ice to Goodison into Weaver. Weaver works out the near side to Plant. It's going to be an offside on the play. And we're going to go all the way as well with 1 and 9 to go on this power play opportunity for the Tigers. Yeah,
Plant's not happy with himself there. It's weird because Weaver didn't fan on that pass either. And Plant was well within the zone when he got the puck. I just think it's just one of those nights for Telford. You know, I know you can't really just write. It's a playoff final and you can't write games off, but just nothing's really. You know, there hasn't been anything any spark. There's been nothing that they can sort of build on. You know, they haven't had any moments to really build on, whether that be power plays or fight or anything really. Basingstoke have just looked quite comfortable, which is a shame because most of us here, you know, want an exciting contest.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's it. As the pass goes in across the ice, we'll have an icing call with 54 seconds of this power play to go. As you say, the Bison performance has been very impressive. Telford at times. Overall, this period's just been very flat, it has to be said, as Telford haven't been. Bison are sitting back waiting on the counter, and Telford just haven't got anything going.
Well, I think if Telford had got, jammed in a goal in the first 5 minutes, their tails would have been up, they would have been at the races. But I think as the time's just ticked away, they realise it's going to be a difficult ask from now on. And it's all very well saying you've got to skate till the final minute, but sometimes when you're 4-0 down, it's just, it's a little bit too much, isn't it?
It's impossible to do so. You say the legs might be willing, but the heart sometimes it just isn't there with it, and it's completely understandable as the Bison clear it once again out on the power play. 37 seconds left,
and I'm sure they're all gutted about it as well. That's the thing.
Yeah, exactly. It's one of those days where it doesn't go right at the office.
Another offside there.
Another offside. Super as Jessen just jumps it over. But fair play to Tommy Watkins here, putting the guys out on the power play, giving them big game experience right now.
Yeah.
It's something he's going to remember going into next year, and yeah, more of them are coming on now.
He's off. Yeah, he's coming. That's a killer as well. You come on as a kid, get a quick whistle, and yeah, get off. The coach tells you to get off. Leave me on. Please leave me on.
It's only in later life when it's the other one. Get me off. Get me off.
Yeah. Well, exactly. Yeah, it goes completely the other way.
Dumped around the boards then, as Scott will try and pick up the pieces, trying to clear it out. The majority of the noise in this building today, apart from the Bison fans, obviously, has come from the Whitley Warriors fans. They've been superb today. They have,
yeah. I mean, they've calmed down since the balloons have got. They were getting really excited. There was a couple of balloons going around earlier. They couldn't get enough of them, but they've gone a bit. I think they've worn themselves out now, the Whitley fans. It's been a long day.
Long day.
I hope they've got a hotel booked. I hope they're not driving all the way back to the northeast tonight.
Goodness, not tonight. The power play has finished for the Tigers. A bit of a whimper will be with that last shot, as we do now enter the final 2 minutes of the proceedings here. As Antonov, well, that's probably his first error of the night. The first foul. Get him off, yeah, fouling on that shot. Mannick looking to dance around. He wants some headline goals. Gets a tip at the net for Davies. Davies trying to lay it back in for the onrushing Connolly.
Bell again.
But Bell again has been strong.
Positioning's been fantastic.
Yeah, let's have a look at this one on the replay here. It's great. He's not reacted all the way. Come back up slightly and just made himself big again for the onrushing shot.
Yeah, this is good. I mean, the Bison fans are all on their feet now, chanting. For them, it's perfect ending. You know, no pressure. They can just enjoy this last, 2 minutes and maybe get a goal to cap it off. Because they're not going to pull the goalie now with 4-0. So.
No, it's always one of those things that surprise. The Bison winning song is The Great Escape. It hasn't really been The Great Escape today. It's been just a great performance.
A lot of fans like that song, don't they? And Sweet Caroline, it's kind of...
Indeed.
Hockey fans' favourites. Used to be Eye the Tiger back in the day, didn't it? What happened to that?
Did indeed, unfortunately. Well, there was plenty of other tracks as well that were other favourites, so they've sadly had to be taken off of various DJ lists over the years.
Yeah. About gangs?
About gangs, yeah. That used to be every rink you went into, you'd hear that song.
It was, yeah.
Not been seen or heard of since. Into the final minute then. Tigers just going to roll those fresh young legs out. Morland getting the opportunity to go out there. Jessen back out there as well. Reynolds is going to be limping in the post-match presentations now. As that one goes across the ice. Maybe we should have given him man of the match just to watch him try and skate across to claim his reward. I'm
sure the win will take the pain away.
Indeed. Or what comes with the win, maybe. Probably more likely.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Life's greatest painkiller. 20. Oh, goodness me, that's my bad.
Telford fans up as well. The whole rink's up.
The whole rink's up. There's nothing to be ashamed of. For the Tigers, I mean, playoff champions in their division, as there's a big hit on the buzzer, which Brooks decides he's going to call on the kid. And I'll be interested to see.
And I think Wilson's having a word with him as well.
Wilson's having a word, just having a little chirp. We're going to have the whistle go with 13 seconds to go. Penalty. There you go, Mitchell. What did you do in your playoff debut? I got a penalty with
got a good cheer, though. He got a good cheer. Fair play to the kid.
Exactly. And there's a few smiles about it. There's a bit of a laugh about it.
Yeah.
But no, as you say, for the Telford Tigers, playoff champions in their division, they went close in the league. Obviously, didn't quite work out.
I was surprised they didn't win the Northern League, I have to say. I haven't seen the other teams, but the quality I saw them in the cups, I thought they were excellent. So
yeah, they were my pre-season favourites. For the Bison, well, it's been near on perfect this year. This is it's going to build up to the big finale on the buzzer, and they bloody decide to. They decide to cover up the puck.
I know. I think the Bison. You look at them, and they've been a bit of a slow burner, haven't they? At the start of the season, you kind of watched them, and you thought, yeah, they're good, but they certainly didn't look like triple winners. So it's triple, is it? It's triple.
It is a triple win, because the buzzer's about to sound on a great season. It's a treble championship for the Basingstoke Bison. They ran out 4-0 victors in the Final Four finale against the Telford Tigers. And a shutout for Dean Skins. That's what's going to get forgotten in all of this as well.
We haven't even mentioned it, have we?
Well, we've not been able to.
He's been solid. I mean, take nothing away from him, but I mean, I just think that the whole Bison unit, from the defence to the forwards, have just done such a good job of restricting Telford to chances. From areas that they want to keep them to. They haven't really been carved open too much at all throughout the game, and some good scenes of celebration here. And I always think with hockey, it's interesting because as a unit, you'll never play with the same guys ever again. You very rarely. There'll always be people leave and join. So for this group, they've been together since September, and it's quite an emotional time, really.
Massively. As you say, it's that season-long journey. The great thing about this, you're seeing a lot of kids who've come through as juniors, kids who've been juniors and watched guys play for the club for years, and they're getting to be part of this celebration together.
And also with Bison, you know, with the much publicised rink stuff as well, you know, like, sorry to drop it in, but it's, you know, these are much, you know, there's been so much sort of doubt about the rink and the future of it. It's just good to share these moments and write them in the history books as well, you know.
Well, they better not put a banner on the wall, because you don't know what might happen to that wall if they stick it on it. But
I know, yeah, I know.
And that's not a cheap plug for Anthony Russell there either as well. So
I know, yeah, exactly. He'll enjoy that. Yeah. First time I've met him actually today. It's one of those, you know, you have these over Twitter, you get people tweeting you all the time, and then have conversations, and you never see them in person. It's
Now, Anthony's one of the great people who's done a great job in the back room running things like the Twitter accounts, and it's also great just in modern sport as well. You see that more and more fans get involved via blogs and via Twitter, and yeah, we do have your naysayers on Twitter, but you also get the moments where it really nice. You have these conversations, the people you meet is great.
It's good for the players as well, you know. You come off the ice and you put in a good performance, and you know you want to see a bit of congratulations, but it's just nice that people care, you know, to see you come off the ice and you're making people happy as well. You know, it's not just you, sort of you and your teammates enjoying it. There's actually a lot of all these fans who've travelled here enjoying themselves, and you know they'll remember that. They'll go home and tell their friends at work, and they all had a great time, you know. And that's what hockey's all about. And the Telford fans over there, today's not their day, but they've had plenty of days in recent years, and they will do again. And
it's quite interesting just looking across at me over the far side of it. As you can see him now, there's a lot of Manchester Phoenix fans here as well, which is, I mean, they've got no club to support. Well, they could go watch the Storm, but that's, I'm not getting into the political. I'm not getting into that political battle, but their fans are here as well. They're staying to the end.
I mean, that's one of the things about British hockey. You know, sadly, teams come and go, and it's heartbreaking for those, because people invest a lot of time. You know, a lot of time. We talked about Anthony there. There'll be people at Telford as well. Hours and hours of time dedicated to their team, whether that be volunteering or, you know, doing online content, anything like that. And you know, sometimes your team just disappears. You know, we've had teams like, you know, for my neck of the woods, Durham Wasps, British champions, you know, like a dynasty. You used to call it Durham Dynasty. It just disappeared, you know. Rink got turned into a bowling alley, game over. You know, they went to Newcastle, became the Newcastle Cobras or Vipers or whatever it is.
Jesters, River Kings,
Jesters, River Kings, yeah. Toon Army, whatever they're called. But you know, it can get taken away from you in an instant, and it's just one of those things with a minority sport. And really, sometimes just getting teams through seasons is just a massive achievement. You look at a club like, you know, I'm going to go back to somewhere like Streatham, you know, formed in 1932, but you know, there's been times when there hasn't been a team, but just trying to build something that can last, you know, for years and years is really difficult, because there's so many circumstances outside your control. And I'm rambling on when everyone should be just enjoying the scenes of celebration.
No, we have to fill over this bit. This is what we have to try and do, as the trophy has made its way out there with the medals. The NIHL chairman Ken Taggart has stumbled down from the VIP section to.
I haven't seen Ken Taggart since I was 15.
Oh, he's been here every year for the past. Goodness, how he gets the photo every year. He doesn't age though. It's the one thing about Ken. He looks
like, you know, I'm going to stop coming at people's hair, because people will be like, "Yeah, shut up. Your hair's not the best."
Well, trust me,
he's got a silver mane, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's got his. It looks like he's got a bit of comb work. At the moment, Steve Merry's just out in the middle of the ice doing his big long. It's like a list at a wedding of people you've got to thank.
Yeah,
it really is.
I tell you what, though, it's a nightmare if you lose. I mean, I've been in a few playoff finals, and you know, you just want to get off the ice. You know, you've got to show your respect, but sometimes, you know, it drags on, and everyone goes to get a medal. I mean, most of them. I mean, I can't speak for them, but no one wants a silver medal. You know.
It's one of those things as well. You sometimes see the silver medals being handed to kids from who support the team, and something for them. Yeah, exactly. It's just it's better than, I can remember being here one year and walking past a bin, and there were 18 of them in a bin somewhere in it. And actually there were kids who were going, well, I support this team, it's a medal, it's great for them as well. So.
Well, I remember we played a game against Chelmsford a few years ago, and they gave us the gold medals by mistake.
Get that quiet.
I think it was Carpo, actually. It might have been the guy on the ice. Gold medals, so we all had a good giggle about that.
So we're just getting ready for the man of the match presentations now for the Telford Tigers. Let's see if they went with our pick of Dennis Bell. Oh, we're going to do the Bison first. Oh, Vanya Antonov did indeed get the man of the match. So they've gone along with our selection of Vanya Antonov.
Well, he's playing the shocked, the bashful, shocked player here.
Shocked, yeah.
Not me. Oh, I don't deserve it. He was excellent.
I don't deserve it. Yeah, he had a great game.
Yeah.
He made a mistake at the end. I'm not going to let him off that. Like little bit off the end the tape.
I'm just thinking,
there's our camera on the ice. That's working.
No one got a hat trick or anything, did they? We didn't.
No.
Dan Weller-Evans there.
And Adam Taylor getting the man of the match actually for the Telford Tigers. Again, you're 1 for 2 again on these.
Yeah, they've done me again, haven't they? They've done me again.
It must be a media selection poll up here that decides who wins it and who doesn't win it.
I mean, you know, he did play well. Didn't take anything away from him, but I just thought Dennis was fantastic.
Indeed. Right then, so now we're going to get ready for the Telford Tigers to be presented with their runners-up medal.
Could be the gold medal. They've mixed the boxes up.
Could get this the wrong way around. Let's just go through the team then. To come forward first, Adam Jones, big strong D-man. Big tough guy.
Got to get a photo with everyone.
Did I get a photo? Well, get a picture with and Ken's getting in there as well.
He is. I mean, you wouldn't want that photo, would you, on your mantelpiece?
No, exactly.
I mean, it's good for the kids, but I mean,
yeah.
Everyone's probably sitting at home thinking this guy's right misery, isn't he? But,
exactly.
But you know, I'm just thinking how I would feel. You know, if it was. I mean, what am I going to do with that photo?
Exactly. Jordan Stokes and now Scott McKenzie coming forward to grin and. I think it's grin and bear it at this moment, isn't it? It's just.
I mean, unless you particularly want a photo of Ken Taggart on your wall with you shaking that, like when you've lost. But you know, good achievement to get the final. I mean, I'm not taking anything away from them, but what I would say is when you've got a team of the quality of Telford, you know, you're kind of expecting to get into the final, and they'll be absolutely gutted. Coming
into the weekend, I had them down as favourites as Jed Morland just goes up, and now Daniel Rose goes up to collect his. Yeah, I had them down as favourites actually coming into the weekend. I just thought that little bit of big game experience was going to prove the difference, and I don't know if I'm supposed to be sad or happy or whatever. Sadly, it just didn't show up as Jonathan Weaver comes forward. I mean,
you know, one thing I would say though is it's quite nice that the game hasn't been decided by anything controversial. You know, we've had a lot of controversy. We always have controversy, but we've had a few decisions this year and things have happened. You know, we had Swindon eliminated on the administrative error. You know, there's a lot happening. What you don't want is your final sort of being the same. You know, the same kind of thing. You know,
just make sure the team sheets go through fine, shall we?
Yeah. I mean, if we counted the games,
the games for everyone.
Yeah.
Going forward there, then that was Corey Goodison, Ricky Plant, and now making his way forward is Jason Silverthorne. Bison kept him quiet tonight.
Is he going to throw his medal? Yep.
Yeah.
Throw his medal.
That's going up. Who wants that medal? And there's a kid who'll be taking that one home. Joe Miller coming out.
Was it Rooney who threw a medal in the crowd, or have I made that up?
What's that?
Wasn't the footballers did that and everyone was kicking off?
Yeah,
medal in the crowd.
I was like Mourinho used to pick his suit up and throw it in the crowd when he won things as well. It's almost like they said, don't throw the medal, throw the suit instead.
Yeah, I like it when they throw the medal and then like they get hard up and they ask for it back. So it's a good one, isn't it? Yeah. I'm just putting the appeal out to all my fans. I threw my stick in the crowd, but I haven't got any sticks left, so can you send
I can remember that. Where that was one game that happened in where someone on a cup final celebration went, yeah, the stick disappeared off, and all of a sudden, and the team had an extra. It was like, where's the stick gone? I don't know, mate.
Well, I mean, it's not so much for these guys because they'll have a stick budget. But when you go down the leagues. Well, sticks aren't cheap, you know, and if you're paying for them yourself and you have a moment of madness throwing it in the crowd, then you kind of want it back, otherwise you're going to have to shell out another 100 quid.
Yeah, not good fun. Let's just go through some of the guys collecting the medals there. Lewis Morgan, Philip Super, Nick Oliver, Jonah Armstrong, number 32 Warren Tate, number 33 Dennis Bell, getting a big applause actually from the arena, and quite rightly.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Looks like he's not had to work hard, but he's worked really hard today.
Ken stepped back, hasn't he? He's had enough of being on the ice. I think it could be. He's back on the carpet.
Back on the carpet. He doesn't step on the ice these days.
It's risky, isn't it? It's risky.
It's too dangerous,
especially in shoes. It's alright in trainers.
They're not as shiny as they normally are.
What, his shoes? Are normally shiny?
Yeah, he's normally a very shiny shoe man, Ken Taggart. Making their way forward, some of the young players, Brock Jessen and Daniel Mitchell, and then Jack Watkins will round off the Telford Tigers players receiving their medals.
Can't believe how much he looks like Tom and Joe. That is, for me, I think the last time I saw him was like a toddler, you know, like.
Probably still had that longer hair as well, which is part of the problem. It's a very good flow he's got going on there, has to be said.
Very straight. Not many curls in there.
No.
There's quite a few guys in NIHL who have a bit of a flow going, isn't it?
Yeah, it's one thing. I mean, Paul Petts has a little bit of one. He's got a bit of work to go. Kurt Reynolds has a small flow. Barry Holyhead making his way.
Holyhead, great goalie in his day.
Yeah, Tom Watkins.
I mean, Tom Watkins got his little box up there as well, which is
indeed.
I didn't know.
Yeah, that's been filled with players from the Basingstoke Buffalo. They made it here, but not yesterday. No, we can't say that out loud, can we? Some of the players, once they knew the game was off, decided they would make it here today.
Oh, really?
It was actually players' wives in there as well, and all sorts. Yeah, it must be a great moment in your career when you get a box named after you.
Yeah, they named a stand in Oxford after me, and I just found it really surreal because, you know, I was associated with people who were dead, you know. So it was, and then I got a bit precious about it, and I was thinking, how people behave in there, you know. I don't want them to, I think Romford were going there, and I was thinking, I hope you take your little home with you.
Just walk over there and point.
It's just really odd, you know. It's a fantastic gesture. But it's just, you know, when you're alive. I mean, it's better to see it when you're alive, I suppose. But it's amazing. You know, sometimes I find in hockey you don't, you know, people just don't really care what you do. But when someone, you know, does something like that for you, you're just blown away.
Kurt Reynolds making his way forward now. Then he collects his medal, followed up by Alan Wilson. Oh, hello. We've got a special guest in the box now. He's got a smile from ear to ear for the
he's happy.
Second year in a row. He was happier last year though. He looks at the screen nervously.
Dan Scott, excellent season for him.
Yeah,
picking up there, made the All-Star team. Yeah, again another popular decision there with the players and coaching staff.
Ryan Sutton with it. Paul Petts, who I think he had quite impressive tonight alongside Alan Wilson actually. Yeah,
it's a big occasion as well for these guys because, you know, some of these guys on the team have played in these big games before, but for some of these kids it's their first session. Vanya Antonov, man of the match, correctly awarded. That was good news. Good choice. Solid choice.
27, Josh Smith.
Look, this one.
Ken's on the ice now, though.
No, freak of nature again with Vanya Antonov. He's played a whole game and not a hair out of place.
No.
He's just ready to go. Josh Smith there.
Another guy who's had a good season as well.
Indeed, the Kieran Long lookalike association there coming into force with Roman Malinek stepping forward, which the Phoenix fans are happy for because obviously he played for the Phoenix last season. As Elliot Dewey comes forward now.
Another player as well, played at Invicta. Was it Invicta last year?
Yeah, Invicta last year. Stepped
up to the play this year. I've always thought he's a good D-man.
Thomas Karpov coming forward, former Telford Tigers player. There as well from many moons ago. And Dean Skins, shut out for Dean Skins tonight. Impressive performance.
You know how many shots he got? I'm not sure.
Many.
Yeah, I'm not going to guess. I'm still on a winner after guessing Antonov's assists.
Stuck with the assist there.
Dan Davies, he had a good game tonight as well.
Great game tonight. And now Captain Aaron Connolly comes forward. Big year for Aaron, was named Basingstoke Gazette Sports Personality of the Year. Plenty of accolades going his way and various things as well.
So you have to go for dinner for that?
He had to go for a big dinner, yeah. The Basingstoke Gazette, Graham Merry, and a lovely trophy, bit of silverware.
Daniel Irvins, popular with the fans, isn't he, Dan?
Yeah, popular with the fans, mainly with Swindon fans, has to be said. He's popular with them. And nice, and again, a great kid who's come through. Stuart Mogg, another one.
Yep, good player.
Gone from forward to D-man, and Joe Baird is now going to hobble across, along with Grant Round.
Shorts, is he?
Yeah, Joe Baird, he always wears shorts. He's always there.
He looks the same as he did when he was 16, Joe Baird.
There is one photo that used to be in Power Play where he had a little bit of hair at the back.
Oh, really? I think he used to shave it anyway, even when he had it.
There was a little bit of great curls.
And has Van Loudon still got the concussion? Is that why he's not playing?
Yeah, I think it might be a secondary injury actually. Following the concussion earlier on.
Shame for those guys. They would have loved to have been playing.
Yeah, exactly. Grant did come back for a couple of games at the end of the league season, but hasn't really been seen in the playoffs.
And shaking the champagne. I think the Planet Ice Zamboni driver won't be happy with this. No,
well, if there's one more rink he can get away with, it is this rink. Andy Worship there, another photo for Andy Worship's mantelpiece there, and the EIHA official to EIHA official. Tony Skins, Dean's father, great to see him out on the ice. Smile, you're not going to rub that smile off his face all summer now. He's not
what a lovely tracksuit.
He's got so many tracksuits, it's incredible. Right then, it's time for the big moment for the Basingstoke Bison faithful, because Aaron Connolly is stepping forward.
champions.
It's been a great season for them. League champions, Britain Conference Playoff champions, and now they are the NIHL Final Four champions.
Not to forget a 12, but once again, of course, the runners up tonight for Telford Tigers. Wishing, of course, everyone a safe journey home whenever you decide to leave. Well, ladies and gentlemen, make some noise then for the Telford Tigers! And of course, our champions tonight, the Basingstoke Bison!